CBS Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Two of the most respected coaches in the NFL, Chuck Pagano on your right, Andy Reid on your left. You see where the Chiefs sit in the West, and Indianapolis, after that very disheartening finish a couple of weeks ago in Houston, only a game out of first place in the AFC South, where, of course, Salmon, you never know what could happen.
Both teams are so well coached that we're at that point, midway point in the season, where both teams are really playing at a high level. They're beginning to click. I think for the Colts today, defensively is where they really have to step up their game, because this Kansas City Chiefs offense, they can put points on the board in a hurry.
See, the Chiefs have owned the head-to-head. As this is booted by Pat McAfee through the back of the end zone, and the Chiefs will have it from their own 25-yard line. Alex Smith has been vintage Alex Smith over the last couple of weeks, and he has been very good as a road starter for Kansas City. Has never beaten the Indianapolis Colts, as you saw. That includes that wild card game. Very few mistakes overall, but especially on the road. Mitchell Schwartz, who has never missed a snap in his NFL career, on the injury report this week with that ankle. And Spencer Ware, nearly 36% of Kansas City's scrimmage yards, second highest percentage of any player behind only Arizona's David Johnson. Smith goes to the airwaves on 1st and 10. And that pass intended for Jeremy Maclin is incomplete. Patrick Robinson on the coverage. How about the defensive starters for Chuck Pagano? Kendall Langford, first NFL game that he has missed in his 9-year career. So Art Jones moves up and starts for a second straight week. Robert Mathis returned that strip sack for a touchdown last week in Nashville. And Patrick Robinson, said Monachino, the defensive coordinator, saying that Robinson had his best game of the season, as he has been banged around with an assortment of injuries this season. On 2nd and 10, this little play action fake from Smith is going to throw on the run. The bullet pass is incomplete, intended for DeAnthony Thomas, and once again it was Patrick Robinson on the coverage. Salmon, what are we looking for early?
Well, when we talk about the Kansas City Chiefs being more trappers than hunters, remember they're one of the least penalized teams in the NFL, and they take the ball away so well on defense, they kind of lull you into making mistakes. And then Indianapolis, we already said it, Andrew Luck has to be pitch perfect against this Chiefs defense, who is so good at taking the ball away and creating turnovers.
Third and 10. Smith throws a bullet, and it is caught. That's the tight end, Travis Kelce, whose production is a little bit behind pace after what we saw from him the last couple of years. 19 yards and a Kansas City first down.
Clayton Gather's going to have his hands full working today against Travis Kelce. There you see him in coverage, man-to-man. They already said that Travis Kelce is much like Rob Gronkowski of the New England Patriots. I think it's a great comparison because he runs excellent routes. He's a big-bodied tight end that can shield you away from the ball, and then you see the excellent pair of hands.
First-time Pro Bowler last season was Kelce, as well, without much room to maneuver, tackled by D'Qwell Jackson. And boy, you talk about a rags to riches story in the NFL. Spencer Ware, the former 6th-round pick of Seattle, spent the season with them in 2013, was cut the following August. He was out of football that entire 2014 season, signed with the Chiefs on December the 31st of 2014, and to go from that to this Salmon, just a remarkable ascension.
Represents over 35% of the Kansas City Chiefs' total offensive production.
On 2nd and 9, a short underneath pass to the tight end, Kelce, already putting his imprint on this game. He picks up 11, and another Chiefs first down.
And this is what you see with this Kansas City Chiefs offense. You already saw it was an incompleted pass on the first play of the game. They tried to go deep down the field to Jeremy Maclin, but it was just enough so that Andy Reid could loosen up this Colts defense. And now you see they're working the underneath quick passing game with their quarterback Alex Smith.
Reid, who has been such a masterful offensive play caller In his 18 years as an NFL head coach, on 1st and 10, Smith's going to take a shot deep down the near side, and it is batted down. Excellent recovery. Vontae Davis able to bat it down. Again, Maclin, the intended target.
Now they have to take the shots deep. This is a really good throw from Alex Smith to Jeremy Maclin. But look at the close and recovery and coverage by Vontae Davis. That's why he's a Pro Bowler. If there's one guy that you expect to be able to play his position and lock him down at the cornerback position, is Vontae Davis.
We mentioned that Kelsey's numbers are down a bit. You can say the same for Maclin. Only 27 catches as we enter week number 8. 7th play of the drive on 2nd and 10. This is Tyreek Hill, the lightning bolt, as they try to get him into some open space. Forced out of bounds after a pickup of 7, and Hill starting to become much more of a factor in this offense.
Yeah, he brings everyone to their feet. You see him in this kind of formation. It's a reverse play. He runs a 4-2-40. We call him the human joystick because he can make the first unblocked defender miss in space. Andy Reid's got to get the ball in his hands plenty today.
Another critical 3rd down coming up, 3rd and 3. This has been an area where they have been much better over the last 3 weeks. 46% on 3rd downs. Smith throwing on the run, finding Kelsey. 1st down and more. Forced out of bounds just shy of the 20. It's a pickup of 15. Kelsey already with his 3rd catch.
They just wanted to screen him open. Take a look. He's going to be right here, and this is what he's going to do. And then you have the reverse rollout right here. He's going to roll to his right. Easy throw because they can get him to the edge of the formation. Clear, clean, easy throw for Alex Smith. This is how the offense can scheme the receivers open. That time it was Kelsey coming open for an easy throw from Alex Smith.
So all 3 of Smith's completions to his tight end, totaling 45 yards to this point. 1st and 10 from the 22. Little quick fake handoff to Ware. Smith so mobile as a quarterback, and he takes a vicious shot. Edwin Jackson getting his money's worth.
And he's woozy. He's woozy. They're going to have to take a look at it. There's no doubt he took a shot here. And you know, quarterbacks get to save themselves by sliding feet first. But if you slide late, then you can't put it on the defender to hold up and not take a shot to tackle any ball player who's coming out in the open. Now watch the late slide and see there you're going to take a hit right there. He's woozy on the play. That's number 53, Edwin Jackson, delivering the hit to Alex Smith.
Nick Foles is Kansas City's backup quarterback. He does have plenty of experience, of course, as a starter, so Foles will be up. That is officially called a sack for Edwin Jackson. Alex Smith being looked at by the independent neurosurgeon and ATC people on the sideline. This was Smith right after that shot from Edwin Jackson. You'll see him woozy, Solomon, as he gets to his feet.
Yeah, and the independent neurologist, these are the type of plays they're looking for. Right now, it's outside of the hands of the teams, and it's in the hands of an independent source who's going to take care of the play.
So this is Nick Foles' first official appearance with the Kansas City Chiefs. This is the concussion protocol, which has become such a focal point for the NFL. When a potential concussion is identified, the player shall be removed immediately from the field. Then the NFL team physician and the unaffiliated neurotrauma consultant will review video of the play, and they'll go through the protocol. And this could be a lengthy situation, as it comes at a time where they were driving Solomon down the field.
Well, it's clear they have to do what's best for the player, Alex Smith, because he was very much woozy trying to get up after that hit.
2 of 2 so far on 3rd downs on this drive. Foles drops back, hit on the throw. 3rd and 3 going end zone for Maclin. It was TJ Green coming hard with the heat.
There's no doubt, and Foles nearly doesn't get rid of it. And there you see 32. That's Green coming clean. The free runner getting hits on the quarterback. That's what you want if you're the defensive coordinator, Ted Monachino. They're going to come after Nick Foles, try to force him to get the ball out of his hands quickly and see if they can force him into making a mistake.
And now you see Smith being escorted into the Kansas City locker room. So they will run the full battery of tests on the Chiefs starting quarterback. We'll get you updated as quickly as we can. This is Cairo Santos, the 30-year kicker from Tulane. Now 12 of 14 on field goals this season, but the big concern now for Kansas City, the health of Alex Smith.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. And by Casa Modelo. Quality beer since 1925.
Alex Smith being taken into the Kansas City locker room in the concussion protocol as we speak. So Nick Foles, who just made his first official appearance as a Chiefs quarterback, signed that free agent contract after he was granted his release by the Rams during the offseason. And suddenly everything changes. All the preparation during the week as they try to get Foles up to speed and ready. That kick through the back of the end zone, and here comes Andrew Luck. We have seen stretches in his career where he has been maybe more prolific, but probably the most efficient 7-game stretch of his career. So gritty, all the absent key players offensively that they've had to contend with. Same starting offensive line that we saw last week. Joe Haig in the spot normally taken by Jack Buhart, and Dante Moncrief back for the first time since that Week 2 shoulder injury. And that vicious hit he took from T.J. Ward against Denver. Play action from Luck on 1st and 10. Luck probes the defense, and that pass is deflected by Marcus Peters right around the line of scrimmage. How about this Kansas City defense coached by Bob Sutton? Chris Jones, the rookie whom they are so high on, the 37th overall pick, making the start. Allen Bailey placed on IR. Ramik Wilson back in the starting lineup again. Last week, his first active game this season. It's Justin March is on IR, and Philip Gaines, who has missed most of the last 3 weeks with that knee injury, is back in the starting lineup. There's Sutton on the Kansas City sideline. Luck from the gun on 2nd and 10. Little crossing route over the middle, off the hands of Dante Moncrief, and that's the man they have nicknamed Dirty Dan, who played the game of his life. Dan Sorensen, the pick 6 last week to go along with the sack.
Yeah, Sorensen is a really good football player. He's really a safety, but you're going to see him in the sub packages at that dime defender. He lines up as a linebacker, and he's part of that new breed of defender that you can match up against tight ends, that you can play to defend the passing game. Last week had a pick 6. He made so many plays all over the football field, and you can expect to see more of that today.
Alex Smith officially, we're told, in the concussion protocol. We'll get you any further updates as quickly as we have them. On 3rd and 10, Luck buying time, finds T.Y. Hilton. Penalty marker on the field. It's way back behind the line of scrimmage. It's a 40-yard catch and run. Luck to Hilton.
Offense, number 74. That's a 10-yard penalty. Replay, 3rd down.
That's Anthony Costanzo. Colts averaging the 4th most penalties per game in the league over the last 3 weeks.
This is costly. You can see it right there. That's that's a chokehold on Tom Ali by Anthony Costanzo. But one of the matchups that we're going to have to pay attention today to Spiro is going to be that of T.Y. Hilton matched up against Marcus Peters. Peters is a fearless corner who can make a lot of big plays, but T.Y. Hilton seems to always answer the challenge to playing against some of the better cornerbacks in the National Football League, and he's used to putting up huge numbers here at home.
So a costly penalty. Colts were called for 12 penalties last week, totaling over 130 yards. Quick strike. This is Philip Dorsett. 14th catch of the season, tackled by Marcus Peters, but well short of the first down marker. Dorsett out last week with that hamstring injury. It's the first time that Luck has his top 3 wide receivers all healthy and in the lineup since Week 2. Here's Pat McAfee, their 8th-year punter. West Virginia, former 7th-round pick back in 2009. McAfee has had a 60-yard punt or more in each of his last 3 games. Long snap count. As McAfee tries to angle it out of bounds, and he does just that. D'Anthony Thomas and Tyreek Hill watch it sail out of bounds. So Nick Foles back onto the field when we come back. I'll start your Halloween night with Kevin James in a scary, funny episode of TV's #1 new comedy, Kevin Can Wait, tomorrow, 8/7 Central, only CBS. A lot going through the mind of Andy Reid. There's Eric Bieniemy, his running backs coach, to his left. Solomon, you prepare all week long for a game, and suddenly your starting quarterback is knocked out. Alex Smith in the concussion protocol. If you've just joined us, so Nick Foles, whom Andy Reid drafted out of college in Philadelphia, and who signed with Kansas City based on his familiarity and deep affection for Andy Reid, making his first Chiefs appearance.
A couple of things, though. Nick Foles has a lot of experience playing in the National Football League. He has a lot of experience in Andy Reid's offensive system. And I don't think Andy has to change a whole lot with Nick Foles. He is going to give him some early, easy throws, maybe some screen plays, quick-hitting pass plays just to get him comfortable and then allow him to grow from there.
Albert Wilson, the man in motion, on 2nd and 9. Play action from Foles goes underneath to the tight end, Demetrius Harris, but not much daylight. Harris trying to make something out of nothing. The football came loose. Appeared to be after he hit the ground. We'll see what the official call is here. And now the officials say Colts football. It was recovered by Edwin Jackson, the man who knocked Alex Smith from the game just earlier.
Just not a good play by Demetrius Harris. He runs the opposite of where the blocking was set up, but now it looks like they may call it down by contact. They're going to take a look at it either way.
Was it even close? Looking at the replay, clearly down by contact, so the Colts offense will head back to the sideline as they'll take another look at this upstairs.
Yeah, the knee is down, but Harris made a bad decision just trying to go back to the right side. It was a screen play set to go to the left side of the formation. He went way to the right side, then came all the way back to the left side. He's going to hear about that from the coach. It's just not a real good decision, and then he's got to hold on to the football.
The Chiefs in a tough spot. Backup quarterback on the field, 3rd and 13 from their own 32. Officially a loss of 4 on that Harris play. Foles has time, delivers up the seam, deflected and incomplete. Off the hands of the intended receiver, Macklin. Patrick Robinson on the coverage. Mike Adams was also there, their Pro Bowl safety.
Just a good break on the ball. Watch 25, Patrick Robinson. He eats up the cushion. Look, close. He was able to get in. I thought there was a bump early before the ball arrived. Now, you are allowed to touch the receiver before the ball arrives. You just can't restrict his ability to catch it before the ball arrives.
Dustin Colquitt on to punt. 3rd straight week that the Colts have had to find a new punt returner. Lost Quan Bray a couple of weeks ago, put on IR, and Chester Rogers inactive today. So T.Y. Hilton back deep to return punt. Signals fair catch after a 51-yard punt.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Nissan. Innovation that excites. And by Bud Light. Make the right call. Drink responsibly.
Oh, some of the legendary figures, players and coaches in the history of this Colts franchise. And what a stadium they have built here in Indianapolis, Lucas Oil Stadium. Spiro Dita, Solomon Wilcots, Colts and the Chiefs. Colts have had a lot of success scoring points on drives that have begun inside their own 20. And Solomon, we mentioned the burden that has been on Luck's shoulders as Dante Moncrief makes the catch. First time that he is in the lineup since the shoulder injury in week 2, and only the 2nd time in 15 games that Luck, Hilton, Moncrief, and Dorsett are all healthy in the same game. That is a fumble on the exchange. Who's got it? And now they say Kansas City football. Ramik Wilson, the man who recovers for the Chiefs, and disaster for the Colts.
Well, you couldn't tell if the center, Ryan Kelly, didn't. Okay, now, it appeared that Andrew Luck just took his eyes off the ball a moment too soon. Watch as the ball arrived. Look, his eyes go toward Frank Gore, before he actually catches and secures the football to hand it to Frank Gore. This was a designed to run play out of shotgun, but you can see the ball is hitting the face mask of Andrew Luck. He didn't stay with it to possess the ball on the snap from Ryan Kelly and didn't see it completely to catch it to hand it off to Frank Gore. This defense is too good to take the ball away by themselves without the coach giving it to them.
So here's Nick Foles from the gun. Play action on 1st and 10. Foles delivers and finds Kelsey. And if you've just joined us, Alex Smith taking a hard shot by Edwin Jackson in the concussion protocol. That's a 16-yard pickup and a first down.
What we call a 7 route, flag route toward the boundary. He's able to get on the edge of Mike Adams, and a really good throw from Nick Foles to get them down inside the red zone. Now, Nick Foles has always been a very accurate passer. He's comfortable, as we said before, in Andy Reid's offense. And if he can just get a clear path, good vision down the field, and they can protect him, he can make enough throws to make it a ball game.
Injured Colts player is their Pro Bowl safety, Mike Adams. As the trainers tending to him on the sideline, just outside, right around the 10-yard line. Week 8 continues later today on Fox. Then tonight, Sunday Night Football on NBC. Tomorrow, Monday Night Football on ESPN. The Vikings trying to bounce back against the Chicago Bears, a game that will kick just after 8:30 Eastern time. So tough start for Frank Gore. That botched exchange that you certainly put on the shoulders of Andrew Luck. And boy, we've had some interesting bounces of the ball here, Solomon, already in his first quarter.
Well, one of the things that Andrew Luck said is that the #1 priority for him in this game today was what? To protect the football. And there you see the easy turnover, because that was just an easy one. He didn't look it in before handing it off to Frank Gore.
Darius Butler has come on in place of Adams. 1st and goal from the 7. Foles goes through his reads, fires a pass, end zone a bit low, intended for Kelsey and incomplete. Kelsey barking at the officials. It was the rookie safety TJ Green on the coverage.
Now watch Chris Conley. That's Conley right there. Now Conley's going to be wide open here. As the smoke clears from that bunch formation, look at it. Stop it right there. He's wide open, and that's where the ball should have gone from Nick Foles. So he has to do a better job of recognizing coverage and getting the ball out to the right receiver.
Ware shifts, 2nd and goal. Handoff to Ware inside the 5. Solomon, so difficult. You know, you're a backup quarterback, limited reps during the course of the week. It's a new team. We know he's familiar with this offensive read, but a tough spot for Foles on the road.
Yeah, it's really tough when you don't get the reps during the week, and then you have to come in early in the ball game. And so you have to, I think, just be patient and allow the game to come to you. Don't try to do too much, and still just try to go with your reads, trust the fundamentals of what you do, and it'll allow you to make plays as the game goes on.
So Foles, the Austin, Texas native, from the gun on 3rd and goal. Pump fakes under pressure, sacked. Robert Mathis getting him around the ankles. The Colts all-time sack leader doing it again. A loss of 6.
He had an open receiver yet again, even though Mathis is coming off the corner. But watch, Conley's going to come open again real quick. Right now, that ball can come out of the hands of Foles. Should have been thrown for a touchdown right there. And so Foles is looking to the left side and never sees Conley over to his right. Neither does he see Robert Mathis coming off the right side.
Mathis, who has made some big plays for them in back-to-back weeks. And that kick from Santos off the uprights and no good. A 28-yard chip shot, and Kansas City comes up empty. Santos, who had hit earlier from 33, he'll be thinking about that one on the airplane ride home. Cairo Santos missing on a 28-yard field goal. So after the turnover on the Luck fumble, Kansas City comes up empty. The lead remains at 3-0. Frank Gore on 1st and 10. Let's go back to the field goal. Keep your eye on the laces. The holder is Colquitt.
Right there, look. He kicks the laces. That's not the way it's designed to be done. So Dustin Colquitt, the holder, has to spin that ball and spin the laces away from the kicker. And you can see it affects the rotation and the accuracy of the kick. And I know Santos has got to be a little bit upset about that. Now, we've already had one tie today over in London between the Washington Redskins and Cincinnati Bengals. That's why kickers are here, to make sure we don't end in a tie.
On 2nd and 4, play action from Luck. Faces the pressure up the gut, and that pass a little bit behind his intended receiver, Hilton, and incomplete. Looked like Hilton kind of grabbed at his hamstring before he bounced down to his feet.
Oh, yeah, they can ill afford to lose T.Y. Hilton. He's open here. Ball's got to be in there. It is behind Hilton. Maybe he can throttle down because that was in the hole. You see he's holding that left hamstring. And I think that's a play where T.Y. Hilton has to throttle it down a little bit because that ball was, I think it was placed perfectly inside of the zone. Maybe it's not on the money to T.Y. Hilton, but that's where the receiver's got to help his quarterback a little bit.
Luck took a shot as well from Chris Jones, the rookie. This is 3rd and 4. Luck under pressure. Pocket collapses. Going to run with it. And Luck takes the shot. Colts screaming for a penalty. It's a 1st down run from Luck. A pickup of a half dozen. Takes a shot at the end of the play. No flags thrown.
You know, this is similar to the hit on Alex Smith. If Luck wants to save himself, if you're going to slide feet first, you got to do so very quickly before you get up on the defender. I know he tries to get down. Philip Gaines is trying not to go for the hit, but it was a late slide by Luck, and Gaines had reacted. Don't take the home.
Quick delivery on 1st and 10. That's Philip Dorsett. 2nd catch for Dorsett. If you've just joined us, this was the hit that Alex Smith took. Drove his offense down the field. They were rolling, and then Edwin Jackson with a vicious shot. Smith woozy as he was helped to his feet by Spencer Ware. Immediately spotted here by the independent neurosurgeon people and concussion spotters on the field, and he is right now going through the concussion protocol in the Kansas City locker room. Luck on 1st and 10, backpedaling, throws, and that pass is incomplete. Intended for Devin Street, who made his Colts debut last week, had that big catch on a 3rd long play to extend the drive at the end of that game. Steven Nelson was there on the coverage.
These defensive backs for the Kansas City Chiefs, boy, do they cover. Watch him undercut this route. You can see right there on the hands of the intended receiver. Fact should have been able to hold on to that, but Steven Nelson was right there in the hip pocket of the receiver.
That was Rob Chudzinski call here, the offensive coordinator, underneath to Gore on 2nd and 10. Gore just inside Chiefs territory. Forced out of bounds by Daniel Sorensen, a pickup of 7, and now a critical 3rd and 3 coming up, and this could be potentially good news for the Chiefs. There's Smith out of the locker room.
Oh, they certainly understand that he just means everything to this football team. He doesn't throw interceptions, only 1 in his last 9 road games. He does a really good job of just managing the offense. The tempo and rhythm of the offense is really the key to Andy Reid and his offense being able to put points on the board.
Mike Adams, we're told, has a groin contusion. His return is questionable. Luck is set. First time they've gotten to the Colts quarterback, D Ford, still playing in that spot vacated by Justin Houston leading the charge.
D Ford, bottom of your screen, see him stunt underneath, and then as he starts to come up, even Chris Jones, 95, is able to get in on the action, but good initial pressure by D Ford.
Ford, who came in with such massive expectations, 23rd overall pick back in 2014 out of Auburn. Only 5.5 sacks through the first 2 seasons of his career. Makes a huge defensive play for Bob Sutton and the Chiefs. McAfee on to punt. Fair catch is signaled by Tyreek Hill. And Indianapolis unable to get to it before it crosses the end zone. And boy, McAfee has to be furious. McAfee has had only 1 punt inside the 10. That's tied for the fewest in the league, but this one should have been downed by his special teams mates. Tonight, a very special guest star on Madam Secretary. JB plays himself. Don't miss it, Madam Secretary, tonight, 9/8 Central, only CBS. Look at JB showing his acting chops.
He's a Washington, D.C. native. He knows his way around Capitol Hill, right?
There's T.Y. Hilton. Boy, just as Dante Moncrief and Philip Dorsett saw him when they're back healthy in the lineup, there's T.Y. Hilton. You saw him clutching at his left hamstring on that last play he was on the field. So we'll get you updated on Hilton's status as quickly as we can. Here's Nick Foles under center. Alex Smith back on the sideline taking some snaps and some practice throws. Foles under duress, fires up the seam, and it is caught. It's Tyreek Hill. That pass hung in the air for an eternity. 50 yards. Foles to Hill.
Foles knew he had to give him an opportunity. Look, he's inside of Vontae Davis. He's going to get on top of TJ Green, the safety. The speed of Tyreek Hill. The rookie runs a 4.240. That's what he did as his pro timing day. And he showed it off right there. But his ability to come down with those 50-50 balls has been equally impressive. And look at Nick Foles cutting it loose for Tyreek Hill.
Officially a 49-yard completion. Sets up the Chiefs with a 1st and 10. Foles, little delayed handoff to Spencer Ware. That'll take some of the pressure off Alex Smith, at least for the moment, as Foles has them inside Indianapolis territory and back in business.
Now, this is what they need. They need to be able to push the ball down the field in the passing game. We said that. Alex Smith, when he was in the game, he took 2 shots down the field against this Colts defense, and it's opened up everything else underneath. Travis Kelce already 4 receptions in the underneath passing game, but their ability to go deep, I think, has been a new added dimension to the Chiefs offense.
So Nick Foles comes on in relief of Smith. 3 of his first 6, 62 yards for Andy Reid and this offense. End of the 1st in Indianapolis. We'll return to Lucas Oil Stadium after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Start of the 2nd quarter, Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. Alex Smith knocked out of the game, at least for the moment. Went through the concussion protocol. Went through some warm-up throws on the sideline, but for the moment it is Nick Foles at quarterback for Andy Reid in Kansas City. They'll go 3 tight ends on 2nd and 7 from the Colts 28. Foles pump fakes a couple of times and finds the tight end Demetrius Harris. Update from the Colts locker room. T.Y. Hilton, it is a left hamstring. His return is questionable. That pass play, a pickup of 5.
T.Y. Hilton has put up huge numbers in each of their last 2 home games. Without him, Andrew Luck's going to have to find some of those other receivers. Dante Moncrief, some of the other ones, are going to have to pick up the pace. And now, as they're knocking on the red zone for the Kansas City Chiefs, critical 3rd down play. You can give the ball to Spencer Ware here, whether he's running it or catching it out of the backfield. He's good at converting. Also, the one-on-one against Travis Kelce is a good bet.
On 3rd and 2, underneath to Spencer Ware, who has been so lethal as a pass catcher out of the backfield. 1st down on the pass. It's a gain of 5.
Yeah, Spencer Ware has been so good. You can isolate him on a linebacker coming out of the backfield. He can catch it, he can run it. He's really good in pass protection as well. 230 pounds, so he can bang it in between the tackles also.
Told you about Ware's numbers earlier. That was his 16th catch of the season. Averages 19 yards per reception. A dual threat for Andy Reid. On 1st and 10, Foles from the gun, hands to Ware. Kansas City, of course, electing this week to sit down Jamal Charles, who did not make the trip. Reid having a conversation with Charles yesterday before their flight from Kansas City. Charles at a surgically repaired knee, just not reacting the way that they wanted. Still had some swelling there after their game. And so for the moment it continues to be Spencer Ware. Alex Smith, we're told, has gone through the protocol, has cleared it. Does have a small cut on his right ear, but his return still questionable. On 2nd and 6, Foles firing, end zone, it is caught. Travis Kelce for the touchdown. Late flag comes in at the end of the play. As Kelsey having a good old time. 14 yards on the pass from Foles.
Just a great route from Travis Kelce. Wow. This is Rob Gronkowski-like. That's what the Colts talked about when we spoke with him this week. They said, look, he's like Gronkowski.
The touchdown is good. After the touchdown, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 32. That 15-yard penalty will be attached to the kickoff.
Here he is right here. Watch him come like he's going out, but then come back inside. And he's just going to spin around Vontae Davis, working against one of the top cornerbacks. That move right there is where separation was had by Travis Kelce, and an easy throw from Nick Foles. He was looking towards Kelce the entire time.
Well, the Chiefs had been waiting for Kelce to break out. 35 receiving yards or less in 4 of their 6 games this season. So far in this first half, 5 catches, 75 yards, and that touchdown from Nick Foles.
That's where the penalty occurred there on TJ Green, number 32, targeting the head area of a defenseless receiver in Travis Kelce.
3rd touchdown catch of the season for Kelce and the 13th of his 4-year career. Point after from Santos is good. So the Chiefs into the end zone for the first time today. All set up on the long bomb to Tyreek Hill, 49 yards. And then Kelce, Kansas City in front on CBS. First 4 possessions eventful for Kansas City. You see Alex Smith standing to the right of their co-offensive coordinator, Matt Nagy, who of course coached with Andy Reid in Philly, coached Nick Foles briefly before Reid was fired, as another short kick. Something we saw from Chuck Pagano and special teams coach Tom McMahon last week, only this time they are on the flip side of that, as Cairo Santos went a little bit short and recovered by Chris Carter. Tonight, what does marijuana have to do with this coming election? A lot. It may become legal in many more states. Plus, an American who led an ISIS cell on 60 Minutes tonight.
I'm not so sure I agree with the onside kick. This Colts offense has yet to cross the 50-yard line in this game today. The defense is playing lights out for Kansas City.
On 1st and 10, this is Gore. That physical running style, getting close to the 50. It's an 11-yard first down run for Gore.
Momentum is everything in football. Look, they'll bring the tight end Jack Doyle around. He's blocking inside. Just a power run game. This is saying, hey, let's go right at him. Good field position. Kind of breathes life back into this Colts offense, which really had been struggling in the early part of today's game.
Keep in mind, T.Y. Hilton is still in the Indianapolis locker room. A left hamstring. His return is questionable. So Solomon again, just as they get back, Moncrief and Dorsett, who both have to knock the rust off. Their leading receiver right now unavailable at the moment.
And there's T.Y. Hilton. He's taken off the field. As you mentioned, Spiro had been holding that left hamstring. He's been so good in this offense, so reliable for his quarterback Andrew Luck. And now Luck is going to have to get the ball to Moncrief, to Dorsett, and then to the tight end Jack Doyle. Remember, Dwayne Allen, the starting tight end, is also out of today's game.
Allen missing a 3rd straight game. You see their success on 1st down. This is 2nd and 8.
Okay.
Goes through his progressions underneath and finds the tight end. That's Eric Swope. 1st down on the catch and run, a pickup of 16. And what a fascinating story this kid Swope has been. Never played football at any level until 3 years ago.
So much has been said about this offensive line. They've been much maligned. They have 4 rookies up front on this line, but this is all day to throw for Andrew Luck. There was no pass rush for the Kansas City Chiefs. Luck took some time, stayed in the pocket, hung in there, found Swope for an easy completion.
5th catch for Swope. Sets up the 1st and 10 inside the Kansas City 35. Play action from Luck. Fires up the seam, and that is caught. That's Jack Doyle, who has become quickly a household name here in Indianapolis. 16 yards and another Colts 1st down.
And now we see the Colts with some kind of momentum after the failed onside kick by the Chiefs, giving the Colts excellent field position. Andrew Luck is getting it going. Even though he gets hit right here, the run game has picked up. The offensive line has given him protection. And now the offense is on the move, all aided by that failed attempted onside kick by the Kansas City Chiefs.
Decision that could come back to haunt him, if not already. On 1st and 10, Luck play action underneath. Looked like Doyle got his feet tangled up, so it is ruled an incompletion. Doyle, that huge performance in the win in Nashville last week. 9 catches, 78 yards, and a late touchdown. And it turned out to be the game winner.
He was amazing. And while we were surprised, you talked to Chuck Pagano, you talked to Andrew Luck, they weren't surprised with what Jack Doyle did in that game. He is from Indianapolis. This is his hometown. His whole family, they're all excited about it. He says, I don't try to think about it. I just want to come out and do my job. And I think he's earned himself a place here with the Indianapolis Colts.
Doyle grew up about 15 minutes from Lucas Oil Stadium, east side of Indianapolis. Luck again underneath, completes to Gore, breaking the tackle, lunging end zone for the Indianapolis touchdown.
Wow, this is quintessential Frank Gore, because Derek Johnson had him dead to rights. I mean, had him locked up. But Frank Gore has been known to be one of the most powerful runners in the NFL. He can break tackles of the best defenders. And here's going to be Frank Gore right there. Watch him slipping out of the backfield. And while Luck is looking down the field, this is the bailout. And there's that missed tackle by Derek Johnson. From there, Frank Gore, he's not to be denied. He's determined to get that ball into the end zone. Great play.
For Gore, that is his 3rd receiving touchdown this season. He had 3 total over the last 4 previous years combined. As physical a runner as there is in the NFL, and still so durable. 84th consecutive start today, longest streak by a running back in the NFL since Curtis Martin back in 05. He started 119 consecutive games. Point after from Vinatieri is good. And so once again, Kansas City's decision to do the onside kick coming back to bite them as Frank Gore makes him pay for it.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Honda. Great deals are waiting for you at your local Honda dealer. Verizon. Welcome to Verizon LTE Advanced, the next-gen network. And by Domino's. Order online at Domino's.com.
Beautiful late October afternoon in the heartland. Alex Smith buckling up his chin strap. Could be good news for the Chiefs. Although Nick Foles acquitted himself quite nicely. That long 49-yard pass to Tyreek Hill set the stage for the eventual touchdown. They're going to return it. Tyreek Hill from deep in his own end zone. Hill breaking tackles, but will only get to the 15. So they have had some questionable decisions in the special teams and that missed field goal, Solomon, from Cairo Santos. So here comes Alex Smith, who was knocked out at the 11:07 mark of the first quarter. A hard hit that he took right here from Edwin Jackson.
Yeah, he was really getting off to a great start, but that late slide, he took the hit from Jackson. He goes into the concussion protocol, very much woozy after taking that hit, and rightfully so. They're going to take him in to take a look at him. He's able to shake it off and going to come back into the game here in the second quarter.
Went through and cleared the protocol. He does have a little cut on his right ear. This is a little end around play. Kendrick West run out of bounds short of the 20. West finally healthy after battling ankle and elbow injuries earlier in the season. Missed the game earlier this month against the Steelers.
I want to go back to the onside kick by the Kansas City Chiefs. After scoring a touchdown, they're up 10-0. You know, when you go onside kick, you're trying to steal a possession, get the ball back real quick. I don't think they needed to do that. They're up 10-0. Their starting quarterback had been out at the time. I think you turn it over to the defense and try to keep the Colts in a hole.
On 2nd and 8, the handoff again to West. Physical run from the 3rd-year man out of Abilene Christian. Finally tackled by Patrick Robinson. And that'll set up a critical 3rd and short. Injury update from the Colts. Vontae Davis, their stud starting cornerback is in the concussion protocol. His return is questionable. So more big injury news in what has been a very physical first half. Third and 1 run play. It's Spencer Ware. Needed the 25. He didn't get it.
No, he did not. Chiefs try to run off the left side behind Anger and Fisher and guard and tackle. And they slam the door shut. Look at the blue jersey. Look at DeQuell Jackson shoot the gap. They're just getting great penetration defensively. Is able to really knock them back. Just a real good play. Number 94, Zach Kerr, the nose tackle, was able to get in there and keep Spencer Ware from hitting the first down mark.
Kerr did not play in Nashville last week, was out with an ankle. Keep in mind, no Kendall Langford today. First game that he has missed in his 9-year career. 135 straight appearances on his streak by a defensive lineman in the league. That football comes loose. Appears as though the Colts have recovered. Robinson on a hard hit. So Ferguson muffing the punt, but Indianapolis able to recover. Rashaan Melvin was there to fall on it. First 4 possessions for Indianapolis as you see T.Y. Hilton back on the field. Solomon, after leaving briefly, they looked at that left hamstring, and he deems himself fit and ready to return.
Yeah, they're going to need him. He creates big plays in this offense. You got to know where T.Y. Hilton is on every single play.
The leading pass catcher looking for his first reception in this game. On 1st and 10, they keep it on the ground to Gore. And boy, you're not going to bring him down with any arm tackles. Daniel Sorensen there finally to bring him to the turf. I'll be the first to know your team's news with the CBS Sports app. Get instant updates, expert analysis, highlights, and more. Download the CBS Sports app today. Luck is going to quicken the pace on 2nd and 5. This is more Gore, who a couple of weeks ago passed the great Jim Brown, 9th place on the all-time rushing list. First 100-yard game by a Colts in that loss in Houston in about 4 years, as they get ready for a critical 3rd and 2.
But they've only had 100 yards rushing in 1 of their 6 games this season. It's been a work in progress. They need to be able to stay balanced, need to be able to help their quarterback, Andrew Luck.
They've been faced with some tough 3rd downs. You see the average yards to go. This is Robert Turbin, who has found his niche as the backup behind Gore the last couple of weeks. Running through a hole there, 7 yards and a first down.
And this is how you help your quarterback, Andrew Luck, being able to stick the ball in the belly of Robert Turbin. Look at the power run game, and that was set up by that 2nd down run by Frank Gore.
This is Luck on 1st and 10. Pocket collapses, somehow got it off in time. Philip Dorsett had to go low to get it. What a play by Luck, a pickup of 3.
Well, Luck is such a tough quarterback. He's going to stand in there. Look at the hit by D. Ford there. Also by Tamba Hali to be able to just get this ball off. And what a great catch by Philip Dorsett. Able to save that one before it hit the ground, but 2 tough guys making tough plays.
Dorsett had struggled before sustaining that foot injury a couple of weeks ago against Oakland. Big play there. Luck. This time will have no such luck trying to get rid of the football. 2nd time they've gotten to him. D. Ford and the great Tamba Hali able to get to him.
Left tackle Constanzo, right tackle Joe Haig working against right there number 55 D. Ford. Both defensive ends, Tamba Hali and Ford, collapsed the pocket, beat both tackles to come away with the sack on Andrew Luck.
This has been a theme, of course. Sacked 25 times. Most sacks given up in any team in the NFL. Now sacked at least twice in every game this season. 3rd and 17. Nowhere to throw, so Luck will slide out past the 40. Derek Johnson was there for Kansas City.
Just good coverage sack on the back end. Take a look. Dante Moncrief nowhere to go as he's bracketed there. To the other side, T.Y. Hilton, Philip Dorsett, 15 to 13. They're covered. Andrew Luck has to eat it, try to run for the first down, not able to get there.
So McAfee on the punt, and Tyreek Hill, who's averaging better than 15 yards per punt return. That is tops in the AFC, second best in the NFL entering Week 8. Signals fair catch here. And that is where Alex Smith and the Chiefs will have it right around their own 17-yard line. 43 yards on the punt from McAfee, 10-7 Chiefs.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Hacksaw Ridge from director Mel Gibson, in theaters Friday. And by State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 800-STATE-FARM.
Now, the great Marty Schottenheimer, who was revealed on Friday, has been suffering from Alzheimer's disease for the last 5 years. There is his son, Brian Schottenheimer, quarterbacks coach for Chuck Pagano in Indianapolis. Marty, such a beloved figure all throughout the NFL, but especially in Kansas City, where he, of course, was a head coach for a decade, late 80s, 89 to 98. And thoughts with Marty and his family. He's intended for Kelsey and nearly intercepted off the hands of the Pro Bowl safety Mike Adams, who left the game briefly earlier in the half.
Should have been an easy completion to Kelsey. Kelsey's going to come here. Excuse me. He should comes right over the middle of the field. Look at this. He's open. Can't drop it in there. An overthrow nearly intercepted by Mike Adams. If Kelsey doesn't get a hand on it, that ball will be intercepted by Adams.
Keep in mind, Alex Smith, just one interception in over 300-plus pass attempts in this incredible streak he's been on. Ball security has always been one of his strengths. Smith under center, throwing incomplete. It's West out of the backfield, brought down close to the 24, a pickup of 5. Pressure coming that time from the outside linebacker, Eric Walden.
Remember, we said before that hit, Alex Smith was in good rhythm in the offense. Came out firing, throwing the ball deep, getting the ball underneath to Travis Kelce, and was in really good rhythm. They were knocking on the door to score when he left the game. But now coming back in, we saw the overthrow. Now here on 3rd and 5, has to settle himself down and try to find the intended receiver to keep the offense on the field.
3rd and 5. Smith finding Kelce. First down and more as Kelce's monster first half continues. Tackled on the play by Darius Butler. Kelce, 6 catches, 97 yards, and the touchdown.
Coming across the formation, they scheme him open, and then the good throw from Alex Smith. You get the ball in the hands of Travis Kelce. They talked about him being like Rob Gronkowski, difficult to defend in man-to-man coverage, even in the zone. And he can run after the catch. For a big man, he can fly.
Quiet game in their home win over the Saints last week. Far different story so far for Kelce in his first half. 21 yards on that hookup. Smith on 1st and 10. Incomplete. Harris had it for a moment and couldn't corral it.
What did Alex Smith tell us yesterday? We spoke with him, Spiro. He said, whenever you're going up against an offense, remember the Colts offense has scored 20 or more points in every single game this year. He says, you're going up against that kind of offense with a quarterback like Andrew Luck, you have to stay on the field. They want to win the battle of time possession, be able to keep Andrew Luck on the sideline, put points on the board, and really make this Colts offense play from behind here at home.
2nd and 10. Smith's pass incomplete. Off the hands of Chris Conley. 3rd round pick out of Georgia a couple of years back. It'll be 3rd and 10 coming up.
That one hit Conley right in the hands. Nick Foles failed to find him earlier in the game when he was open. And as he's separating from coverage with Patrick Robinson, look at that ball hit him right in the hands. He'll make most of those catches. He's been really good for this team. Now critical 3rd down. This is where they like to look for Kelce. Don't forget about Tyreek Hill.
Flags whistle, the play dead. Appears to be a false start on the Chiefs.
False start. Full start. Offense, number 19. It's a 5-yard penalty. Replay. 3rd down.
It's Jeremy Maclin and Kansas City's first penalty in this first half.
One of the least penalized teams in the NFL. Andy Reid talked about this yesterday. It really does take them out of rhythm. There you see the movement right there on Maclin.
Kelsey back on the field. Lines up in the slot to the right of Smith. Smith's pass batted down at the line of scrimmage. T.Y. McGill, who had that huge strip sack of Marcus Mariota last week, getting his big mitts on it, and the Chiefs will punt.
T.Y. McGill, big number 99. Watch him elevate on this. The big guy, get up, Spiro. Look at that. You can slide a couple of books under those feet on that vertical jump right there. You're right, though. He has begun to make plays. One of the emerging young players on this defense that's starting to make plays for the Colts.
Acquired off waivers from Seattle last season. Had that big preseason, but just did not have many opportunities before his big play last week. This one takes a Chiefs bounce as T.Y. Hilton signals fair catch. 54 yards on the punt from Colquitt. And very tough starting field position for the Colts. Saturday, it's the CBS College Football Triple Threat. First, the Fighting Irish take on the Midshipmen of Navy, and then the Gators meet the Razorbacks. And in primetime, Crimson Tide try to out-tough the Ragin' Cajuns down in Death Valley. Big college football weekend coming up right here on CBS.
So both offenses can put up points, can they? We told you that both quarterbacks, Andrew Luck, Alex Smith, are capable. With Smith going out, he was still able to score, but you can see they're right on pace for doing what we expect.
Josh Ferguson, who muffed the punt just a couple of minutes ago, the rookie running back out of Illinois on the field. Big pass from Luck, finds Dante Moncrief. His first game action since week 2, and that brings us to the 2-minute warning. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Coming up, the Verizon Halftime Report will send you to New York. JB, Tony, Bart Boomer, and Coach Cowher standing by. They'll get you around the league, get you caught up in week 8, plus a preview of Thursday Night Football on NFL Network. All to come on the Verizon Halftime Report. Spiro Vita, Solomon Wilcots, rest of our CBS crew from Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. Colts have all 3 timeouts left. As Luck fakes the handoff, will run with it on 1st and 10. Nowhere to throw the football. And this could be a favorable part in the game. They do have the ball, Solomon, to begin the second half. So they've got some options here, down 3.
And even though they still have their 3 timeouts here in the final minute 52 seconds, you could see Andrew Luck getting out of bounds, conserving those timeouts. He was able to stop the clock by getting out of bounds and try to get this offense going.
Luck so far, if you've just joined us, 9 for 14, only 100 yards passing. Did have that fumble on a botched shotgun snap. As that pass intended for Moncrief, who has a couple of catches in his return to the lineup, falls incomplete.
Whenever you go empty backfield set, the ball's got to come out quick from the quarterback, Andrew Luck. You see Ali is able to beat Anthony Costanzo, the left tackle for the Indianapolis Colts, and Luck barely got that ball away. And even though he had to throw it quickly, he threw it behind the intended receiver and almost allowed Marcus Peters an opportunity to make a play on the ball. You see 20 dropbacks. He's been sacked, hit, hurried, and harassed, knocked down here in the first half.
Keep in mind, Kansas City had only 8 sacks on the season entering today. They've got 2 already in this first half. On 3rd and 3, that pass right through the hands of Hilton and incomplete.
Luck just overpowers that one. We talked about it. He needs to get the ball out quick, and sometimes you try to get it out quickly, you're off target. This one is high and behind T.Y. Hilton, who was wide open on the play and would have had an easy first down. Luck wishes he had that one back.
Hilton had to leave the game briefly with a left hamstring injury. Still looking for his first catch. So McAfee on the punt. One of the strongest legs of any punters in the NFL. Pro Bowler a couple of years back in 2014, and this is a boomer. Fielded by Hill. Breaks the initial tackler, going backwards. Trying to find some daylight. Crosses the 25. And just about leapfrogs the defender. Officially a 14-yard return. He covered about 50 yards on the play after the 58-yard punt from McAfee, who gives him a little tap on the helmet. Another reminder, the Verizon halftime report comes your way next. JB and the fellas standing by in New York. Preview of Thursday Night Football and a bunch of scores and highlights around the league in week number 8 on the Verizon halftime report. Well, this is interesting. The Chiefs, one of 2 teams, Salman, that has not scored a point in the last 2 minutes of the first half. The Niners, the other team.
Very surprising, because we know Andy Reid's an excellent play caller. To me, it's really about the first or second down plays. You got to be able to hit something really quick to get this offense into rhythm.
Here's Smith on 1st and 10. That pass is caught. That's Conley, who had the drop just a couple of minutes ago. Clock continues to run. It's a pickup of 9. Tackled by Darius Butler.
Well, that's the kind of play they want to be able to hit on early on downs. And now let's see if they can get this defense back on their heels and scheme Travis Kelce open somehow.
Chiefs have all 3 timeouts. Smith feels the pocket collapse. Finds his man west out of the backfield. Streaking up the sideline. First down on the catch and run. But a flag thrown.
Holding offense, number 71. 10-yard penalty replay. Second down.
That's Mitchell Schwartz. It negates an 18-yard pass play.
Well, that's what really kills your ability to get some kind of momentum and rhythm in the offense. We see 2 quick completions to Conley and West, but on that hold right there by Mitchell Schwartz working against Robert Mathis, that can derail a drive in the final 2 minutes. Makes it tough on the play caller, Andy Reid.
Mathis, who had the sack earlier, Colts all-time leading sack man, 120 in his incredible career. 2nd and 11. Smith takes a smack. Macklin, the intended receiver. Butler coming with the pressure up the gut.
They didn't have the hot route on. Smith wanted to get rid of the ball quickly, and there you see Butler right there, number 20. See, he's ready to throw it, but the receivers aren't ready. And he can't step into that throw because Butler's bearing down on him. That's just really good pressure. You can see Butler playing with a club on that injured right hand.
Playing through that fractured finger that he hurt in Houston a couple of weeks back, re-aggravated. Playing just a couple of days after surgery a couple of weeks back, showing his toughness. Smith's pass on 3rd and long again for Macklin is incomplete. Raheem Ayers was right there through the passing window. And Jeremy Macklin saw him still looking for his first catch.
Oh, absolutely. But take a look at Robert Mathis. That patent spin move that made him a great player in the NFL. They rushed 3, dropped 8 in coverage, shrinking the windows of opportunity to get the ball in to Jeremy Macklin.
So the Colts will get another chance. Still have all 3 of their timeouts left. And keep in mind, will receive the football to begin the second half. This is Philip Dorsett, who will come a long way to get to it. And Luck and company will have good field position from out past their own 30. There's certainly plenty of time here to take a couple of shots with all 3 timeouts left.
You know, you do have to take what the defense gives you. Coaches can call up a deep throw and say, okay, here's what we want to do. And then the defense is going to come out and they're going to give you a certain look. And they're not going to allow you to throw it deep. They're going to play heavy and over the top. And if you're lucky, you got to take what Bob Sutton's defense is going to give you underneath and hope you can break a tackle and create a big pass play in the catch and run game.
Keep in mind they've got Adam Vinatieri. Last week set the new NFL record. That pass is intercepted. Philip Gaines with a defensive gem for Kansas City.
Now that's what you cannot have happen if you are Andrew Luck. And Chuck Pagano can't be happy. You've got to protect the ball. This is a gift for the Kansas City Chiefs. They're the best in the league at picking off passes. They lead the league now with 11 interceptions, and that's the 11th one by Philip Gaines. Good read, good break. The ball was thrown behind the intended receiver, Dante Moncrief. Andrew Luck right now out of sorts, has to get back in sync with his receivers.
What a moment for Gaines, who has missed so much time with injuries the past couple of years. Out last week with a knee. Most of the last 3 games with that knee injury. Tore his ACL last September. Biggest play we've seen from Gaines in quite some time to give Smith and company a short field. Timeout, Indianapolis. Luck still thinking about that pick taken by Philip Gaines. Here's another look.
Gaines, very aggressive, jumping the ball right there. Literally, we call it 50-50 balls. Remember Andrew Luck talked about it? Said that those receivers, you know, this is the week where the 50-50 balls, where either the receiver or the defender can come down with it. He expects his receivers to be able to win.
Chiefs have all 3 timeouts. Keep in mind, Santos missed that 28-yard field goal earlier. This is Spencer Ware underneath, inside the 20. Someone loses a hat. There's Ware all the way down to the Indianapolis 12. 24 yards on a physical catch and run.
Oh, this is a really smart play by Alex Smith. He understands his running backs give him an opportunity to bail out, be able to drop it off. We'll go ahead and roll it here, but this is where you see him bearing down, coming in on the quarterback. As this is just a set screen play to be able to release Spencer Ware and get him out against the defense. Well-timed play, knowing they were expecting a heavy pass rush. That's when you want to call that kind of screen play to get the intended receiver, in this case Spencer Ware, beyond that rushing defensive line. And he's going to be able to gain some yards after making that catch.
It was T.J. Green, the rookie safety, who lost his helmet. Ware last week had that 46-yard touchdown catch, longest reception of his career, and his first ever receiving touchdown. You see the 20-yard plays today, favoring the Chiefs. Smith, end zone, incomplete. Boy, Macklin nearly had an incredible one-handed catch.
Well, they're trying to get it to Macklin. He's got to stop the point of the ball, be able to haul it in. Look, he got to the point and used that other hand to be able to haul that ball in. Wasn't able to do it. He's got to be able to make some plays. We know he's a talented receiver. He's yet to haul one in so far today.
Where does Andy Reid go here on 2nd and 10? Smith again throwing, end zone, caught. Macklin for the Kansas City touchdown.
Oh, if at first you don't succeed, Matthias Farley, he's locked up man-to-man coverage against Macklin, and Macklin wins. How about Smith going back to Macklin after the intended opportunity to get him a touchdown on the earlier play, and then goes right back to him. This one's well thrown and obviously well caught. He's looking at him the entire time, Spiro.
First catch for Jeremy Macklin this afternoon. 2nd touchdown reception of the season, and the first, as you saw, for him since week 1. Point after from Santos is good, so the Chiefs build on their lead. And how about Alex Smith showing some grit? Knocked from the game earlier. Went through, cleared the concussion protocol, comes back, and they take advantage of the Philip Gaines interception of Andrew Luck. Gave Smith the short field and goes right back to Macklin, as those two have built such a bond over the past couple of seasons. Macklin with a franchise record last year, 87 catches. Builds on Kansas City's lead.
And you know what? If you're the quarterback, what you do is you scan and you look, but you see single coverage out there, and all you got to do is just throw that fade route, and that's what Alex Smith is looking for. Single coverage, Get it to your best receiver, throw it right over the top to Macklin. Well timed, well executed.
You know, we've talked to Andy Reid a bunch, and he has said it, the aptitude that Alex Smith has for offensive football, reading defenses, second to none in terms of players he's coached.
What we call a large bandwidth, right? Can handle all the information, can process it, and then the execution is really the point where coaches, they grade quarterbacks on their ability to execute consistently at a very high level, and Alex Smith has proven he can do it.
What did Andy Reid say? You'll never run out of gigabytes.
Never run
Alex
out of
Smith.
gigabytes.
Nice kick by Santos as Jordan Todman takes a knee. So now Luck in a far different set of circumstances. With just 19 seconds on the clock. Couple of turnovers that he is responsible for. This was the box snap that really Salmon just hit him in the hands.
Yeah, and that one he just has to be able to hold on to. He has been under pressure today. He's been hit. He's had to evade the pressure and get out of the pocket and run with it. And then you can see throwing the ball early, a little bit off target against this defense. They will make you pay.
Well, certainly you have to put some of it on the lack of pass protection that has been such an issue with this offense the last couple of years. But the fumble and the pick right on the shoulders of Andrew Luck. So 17-7, Kansas City in front as we reach halftime. We'll be back with the Verizon Halftime Report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Happy Halloween from Indianapolis. Plenty of halftime entertainment as we are just about ready for the second half. Let's get you Who You're Loving, presented by McDonald's. Alex Smith clearing the concussion protocol, back onto the field, marches his Chiefs right down the field, and then goes to Jeremy Macklin in the back of the end zone for that late first half touchdown. As we welcome you back to the NFL on CBS alongside Solomon Wilcots. I'm Spiro Dedes. The quarterback's certainly a focal point. Smith banged around, had to leave the game briefly, comes back, shows you how tough he is, and Andrew Luck struggling a couple of turnovers.
Yeah, we said that both quarterbacks are very good coming into this game today, but we knew the Kansas City Chiefs defense would put a lot of pressure on Andrew Luck because of their ability to take the ball away. You can see the quarterback comparison. Remember, Alex Smith was knocked out of the game, came back in the second quarter, still able to put a touchdown on the board. But Andrew Luck, 2 turnovers are critical. 1 fumble, then the interception. It's Alex Smith who's really been lights out in this ball game after coming back.
Well, Smith taking that shot from Edwin Jackson, had to leave. Nick Foles came on in relief. And then when Smith came back, he went right back to the well. Travis Kelce nearly 100 yards receiving in that first half. And Salmon gave him time to throw the football.
Well, he showed the toughness, too, to be able to shake it off and get back in. And then his ability to read the defense and identify Macklin. And Alex Smith is just phenomenal. He really does play heads-up football. Very smart, high level of execution.
Smith, after he came back, 5 of 12, 72 yards in that touchdown to Macklin. And that's where we sit. Chiefs looking for a 3rd straight win, 4-2 in that AFC West. And the Colts trying to get back-to-back wins for the first time this season, as they will have it at their own 25. So, what about some second half adjustments?
I think if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, you got to continue to put some pressure on Andrew Luck. 2 sacks early in the first half of the game has forced him to commit some costly turnovers. And then if you're the Indianapolis Colts, you got to contain the tight end Travis Kelce. Nearly 100 yards receiving for the Chiefs tight end in the first half.
Here is Luck under center, 1st and 10 from their own 25. Fakes the handoff. That pass over the middle is caught by Moncrief. It's 14 yards, and Moncrief with his 3rd catch.
Wow, got to be, we talk about it, protect the football against this Chiefs defense. That one nearly almost got away, but Moncrief was able to corral that football and haul it in front of Eric Barrett.
See Moncrief's numbers. First action for him since that fractured scapula and shoulder in week 2 against Denver. as we take a look at the first half numbers between Kansas City and Indianapolis.
Just really good balance, I think, for the Kansas City Chiefs between the run and pass game. Even though only 35 yards rushing, but it's, you know, they're able to run it on early downs at critical moments, even though it's not large production when it comes to running the football. But they've had good balance and been able to protect their quarterback.
Man in motion is Doyle. Keep it on the ground to Gore. When you consider all the injuries that they've had, receivers that have missed games, this is the 4th highest scoring offense in the NFL, averaging a shade over 27 points per game.
And I think that's the one thing that Andy Reid had to be able to tell his team at halftime. You know, Andrew Luck has always been a good fourth quarter quarterback. He can come back, he can beat you. They know that from that wild card game they had played right here in Indianapolis against Chuck Pagano and Andrew Luck.
Luck had his 17th come from behind win last week in Nashville. That pass from Moncrief, a little bit too much on it. Philip Gaines, who had the pick at the end of the first half for Kansas City, was there on the coverage.
This secondary here in Kansas City, they can lock you up. Parker's so good. Gaines, good to have him back in the lineup after losing DJ White. They've had some young defensive backs come in and play well, and they haven't really had consistent pressure on the quarterback. Still been good on the back end in coverage.
Yeah, that has been a playmaking defense as well. Solomon has touched on the turnovers, the takeaways that they've had. A couple of big ones, including one in the red zone in that home win over the Saints last week. Bill is going to play it from inside his own 10. Second leading punt return man in the league. And in week 8, and better than 15 per game. He gets 16 on that nifty little run back, tackled by Jack Doyle. Well, the Indianapolis Colts hosted their annual Kids Club Halloween party and provided a night of fun to local kids here at Lucas Oil Stadium. Trick-or-treaters were able to come meet their Colts players, cheerleaders, and mascot Blue, all while wearing their favorite costumes. Beautiful Sunday afternoon here in late October. Happy Halloween from Indianapolis. Roof closed today, 17-7 Chiefs, as Alex Smith leads his offense back onto the field. Spencer Ware, we're told, is in the concussion protocol for the Chiefs. His return is questionable, so after Smith cleared through the protocol, took that hard hit early, suddenly Spencer Ware, their leading runner, and Solomon, a guy who accounts for nearly 36% of their scrimmage yards, is unavailable at the moment.
Not only was he good at running the football, but we talked about it, catching it out of the backfield, but he's good at pass protection because he's a former quarterback. That's what he talked about when he met with us, is that he could read the defense and he kind of on that same page, sharing a brain with his quarterback, Alex Smith.
And an update on Vontae Davis, Indianapolis' starting corner. He will not return after suffering a concussion of his own. Tyreek Hill, such a slippery, dangerous man, loses his helmet at the end of the play. That's a pickup of 11 and a first down. There's an injured Chiefs player. That's Parker Enger, their 4th round pick, a rookie out of Cincinnati, and he is writhing in pain as the trainers come onto the field. Anger, who has taken his lumps already, but a kid who's got such a bright future in front of him, suffered a concussion week 1, and now those busy Chiefs trainers back onto the field.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. McDonald's. I'm loving it. And by the all-new Chrysler Pacifica, imported from Detroit.
Well, this Chiefs offensive line that has been so good the last couple of weeks will lose one of its starters, at least for the moment. Parker Enger, their 4th round pick, the rookie out of Cincinnati. We'll spare you the replay. Just had planted on his leg, got rolled up on from the front. So Zach Fulton, one of the swing and the utility men, has already started 3 games this season. Former 6th round pick out of Tennessee was summoned by Andy Reid. 1st and 10. Smith goes play action. Nowhere to throw. He's going to run it. And this time takes a more distinct slide than he did earlier It's a pickup of 8.
Key is to slide early to keep that defender from coming down and hitting you. But you can see that opening. He could see it as well. He's going to take it, but hit the deck early, slide feet first, and protect yourself.
Salmon, they're in a precarious spot here. Spencer Ware in the concussion protocol. His return questionable. No Jamal Charles today. So at the moment, they have one healthy running back, and then it's Charkandrick West. West flanking Smith. Smith fakes the handoff. And once again, a late slide on a 2nd and 2. And Smith again is slow to get to his feet. That was Clayton Geathers.
Why would you run that play when he's already dealing with concussions issues, that he's already been knocked out of the game and went into the protocol and come back, and now as he goes to slide here on a read option play, he has to hit the deck, but you know, he's trying to get a first down too. I don't know that I would put the quarterback in jeopardy there on that kind of play. Now he's trying to run. He's got to decide, okay, do I get the first down or do I slide? And I think he slides late. He is going to take a hit, then watch the head hit the turf.
Oh boy, see the helmet get twisted around, and that is a scary situation. If you've just joined us, Alex Smith left this game at the 11-minute mark of the first quarter. Went through the concussion protocol, was cleared by the independent doctors, returned, looked good, but once again is down. Live pictures from Indianapolis. Alex Smith once again will be brought into the Chiefs locker room. We can assume to go through the concussion protocol for a second time today. So Nick Foles summoned once again. Down to one healthy running back, Charkandrick West, who runs for the first down. Let's go back to the hit. Salmon, it was Clayton Geathers at the end of the play.
Yeah, Clayton Geathers, what he does, he puts his hands on the head of Alex Smith and pushes it into the turf. Now watch this. Right there, that's where the injury occurs. Alex Smith did the right thing by sliding, but the injury occurred because the defender is supposed to let up. You can't go to the head of the quarterback when he slides feet first.
There's no penalty called on the play. That could be something that the league takes a look at during the course of the week. Foles goes underneath to West. And so suddenly they are really up against it. They do have a 10-point lead, but backup quarterback, one healthy running back at the moment. And Spencer Ware still in the concussion protocol. We don't know if he's coming back. And they just lost their starting left guard, Parker Anger.
But Nick Foles has already been in this game once for Alex Smith. Now he's back in the game. He's even has himself a touchdown pass in this game. And so you feel you can run the offense with Nick Foles, who we had mentioned earlier played in the same system for Andy Reid when he was in Philadelphia. So he's very comfortable with running this offensive scheme.
Reid drafted him in the 3rd round back in 2012 and was fired later that season. 2nd and 8 pass to Kelsey. Kelsey was the quarterback of 4 possessions in the first half. Here's what he did.
Yeah, he was very efficient with the ball, was able to step up in the pocket and drive the ball down the field for a 49-yard completion to Tyreek Hill, and then getting the ball out quick. Was able to throw a touchdown toss to Travis Kelsey. Now, there were some other times in the red zone possessions we thought he didn't see Chris Conley open when he should have. So still can get better, but not bad when you have to come off the bench ice cold.
Update from the Chiefs. Ware and Anger will not return. West. First down and more. West breaking free. And finally tripped up at the Indianapolis 10. Darius Butler with a touchdown saving tackle. 33 yards on the gallop from West. And now flag thrown.
Andy Reid said, what do you got? Doesn't look good.
A little block in the back on the offense, number 13. That penalty's from the spot of a foul, which will still be a first down for Kansas City.
That's DeAnthony Thomas.
There's going to be DeAnthony Thomas to the outside. Watch this nice run. Good block by Travis Kelsey. This is going to come at the end of the run. Right there, that block in the back on Patrick Robinson.
Just didn't need it.
Legal hit coming right there in the back.
Well, that stings for Andy Reid and the Chiefs. 33-yard run taken off the books. And now 1st and 10 from the Colts 35. So again, Foles on in relief of Alex Smith for the 2nd time this afternoon. So sideline delivery to Tyreek Hill. Excellent defensive play in the flat by Rashaan Melvin, the 4th-year man out of Northern Illinois.
Now, how is the offense different with Nick Foles in for Alex Smith? I already said earlier that I don't think they change a thing. I think they do try to create some easy throws for Nick Foles to get comfortable in the offense. But remember, he's athletic. He's capable of making good throws. He's very accurate with the ball. But you got to allow him to have easy reads so he doesn't have to diagnose too much, doesn't get caught holding the ball, and he can get going in the quick rhythm passing game.
So 4 wide receivers split out top of your picture on 2nd and 9. Foles going to take a shot, throwing end zone, has his man. It's Tyreek Hill for a Kansas City touchdown. 34 yards from Foles.
How's that for an easy throw, easy read for a touchdown? It's a great throw by Foles. This is the play they ran last week. Tyreek Hill's out here. He's just going to go streaking, but look at the 3 bunch receivers in the middle. The safety gets caught inside there. He can't get outside to get that play. That's Hill wide open. Excellent throw from Nick Foles.
Keep in mind, Colts playing without their best defensive back, Vontae Davis. Left the game with a concussion. And Nick Foles, 11 of 14 in relief of Alex Smith. A $127 and 2 touchdowns. Tyreek Hill on a 34-yard strike from Nick Foles, and it's all Chiefs.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by FedEx, helping small businesses simplify e-commerce. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Well, the Chiefs were just an incredible history through the course of the years. Their franchise, of course, the Hunt family. Tyreek Hill, Samu, we started the show talking about this kid who is really coming into his own. 4th receiving touchdown of the season that leads the Chiefs, and he is accounted now in this game for 150 total yards.
How about a value pick? 5th round pick out of West Alabama, putting up 1st round numbers.
Josh Ferguson watches that one booted through the end zone, and so Andrew Luck will try to shake off the 2 turnovers. The 1st half interception at the end of the 2nd quarter. With a fumbled snap earlier, and you just wonder where his head is, Solomon. And suddenly he and the Colts down 24-7.
But just when you're ready to write off Andrew Luck, I've seen him struggle early in games, and then next thing you know, he shakes it off and he puts his team on his back, and he can carry them to a 4th quarter win.
T.Y. Hilton in motion. Luck fakes the handoff to Gore. That's a high pass. What a catch by Jack Doyle. Out to the 45-yard line, a 1st down pickup of 20 to New York, JB and Bart.
Buffalo at it again.
Tyrod Taylor, they're staying persistent right here on the 4th and 3. He pulled, calls his own number with the quarterback draw, takes it in, 26 yards for the score. Buffalo narrows it 17-31.
As I've said before, exhibiting Solomon Wilcox-like speed. Back to Spiro.
Yeah, but the hamstrings aren't what they used to be, JB.
1st and 10 after the catch by Doyle. Luck steps up in the pocket's going to run with it. And runs into Kansas City territory. Luck, who was just so incredible last week. All the injured players that they had to pick up a road win in Nashville. It shows you what a difference a week can make, Solomon, in the NFL.
Yeah, there's no doubt. But he is one of those guys who's going to keep chopping wood, keep grinding away. That's why the defense has to continue to be persistent.
On 2nd and 3, that's Gore. Luck, who, of course, had to battle his way through last season, worst season of his career. Took a beating. His offensive coordinator and close friend Pep Hamilton fired. And that lacerated kidney ended his season after 9 games. Been so good through the first 7 weeks this year, and now you see the update on Alex Smith. He will not return. Neither will Spencer Ware, and Parker Anger also lost with a knee injury.
Critical components missing all on the offensive side of the ball for Kansas City. So defense has to be able to close it out.
On 3rd and 2. This is Luck handing to Robert Turbin. It's a pickup of 2 and enough to move the chains for Indianapolis.
Converting 3rd downs. Using Frank Gore and Robert Turbin in the run game to help Andrew Luck. But now these receivers got to make big plays.
Here's Turbin again, giving Frank Gore a breather. Well, one thing we told you, Indianapolis can score points, even if at the moment they don't have much going. Only 7 till this point. 4th highest scoring team in the league.
12 men on the field. Defense. It's a 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
Andy Reid can't be happy with that. There you see. See the 2 guys at the top jogging off? Look at that. Caught him. They caught him. There's Don Terry Poe and Chris Jones. A lot of confusion there defensively. And Andy Reid wants to know what happened.
1st and 5 after the penalty. Doyle in motion. End around play. This is Dante Moncrief. Chiefs were not fooled and covered it perfectly. It's a loss of a yard. Jay Howard leading the charge for the Chiefs.
Well defended. They had cut it off over to this right side. Watch how they get out in front of it. Tamba Hali, number 91. We call this keeping leverage on the ball. Maintaining containment outside, forcing it to come back the other way, and they shut it off on the backside.
Luck on 2nd and 6. Pocket collapses, zips a pass, and completes. Eric Swope. Marker thrown just beyond the line of scrimmage. It's a 14-yard pass play if it stands.
Holding. Defense, number 20. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a 1st down.
And Steven Nelson. Penalty declined by Kansas City. So suddenly the Colts in business.
I think it's real critical for the Colts to get a touchdown here. Put some points on the board in this possession to start to get some momentum back here in the 2nd half. We told you Andrew Luck is very good late in ball games. This is where he's been at his best.
7th play of the drive. Luck from the gun on 1st and 10. Goes underneath. This is Dorsett. 1st down and more. Dorsett getting out of bounds. A pickup of 13 yards. Tackled by Derek Johnson. It'll be 1st and 10 coming up for Indianapolis. With NFL Mobile, stream live local Sunday afternoon and primetime games live on your smartphone. Learn more at NFL.com/mobile.
Outside the red zone. T.Y. Hilton, Jack Doyle, they've been playmakers in this area of the football field.
T.Y. Hilton, by the way, still does not have a catch. On 1st and 10, right on cue, it's Hilton. There is a marker thrown at the other side of the field. Phillip Gaines on the coverage. And this one could be against the Chiefs again.
Offside. Offside. Defense, number 55. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
It's D Ford, so the 2nd defensive penalty on this possession alone.
You know, Hilton's such a good route runner. Left the game earlier with a hamstring injury. Appeared to be limping there, but still good enough to get separation in front of Phillip Gaines on that play. And, you know, Doyle has been real good. He's earned the trust of Andrew Luck. He can make plays down inside the red zone.
So they redo the play, so you take the catch for Hilton off the board. This is 1st and 5. Luck takes a shot right on the release. It's on Tari Poe, coming with all 345 pounds right at Luck.
And even Andy Reid's impressed by Andrew Luck. The presence he has in the pocket at 6'4", 240. Talks about how tightly he holds the football, those big hands. He's really impressed with just the technique, the fundamentals, and the overall presence of Andrew Luck. He's a physical quarterback now. He can take a licking and keep on banging away to put points on the board.
What did Reid say about him? He said he's dirty tough.
He's dirty tough.
Better be tough. All the shots he's taken the last couple of years. This is Gore. Moving those powerful legs to get inside the 5. It'll be first and goal, Indianapolis. Tackled by Derek Johnson. It's a pickup of 6.
And people talk about, Frank Gore may not get the 100-yard games, but it's runs like that really, I think, provides the production and shows how effective he is for this offense. And Chuck Pagano knows it. He said he keeps us on schedule, and that's what Andrew Luck needs.
9 rushes away from passing Marshall Faulk for 15th on the all-time list. He's been doing it a long time. 12 years in the league. Luck, he leads the set, throws it, dart, end zone, caught. Moncrief for the Indianapolis touchdown.
This is all Andrew Luck. He had a free runner at the quarterback. And watch, you're going to see Dontari Poe, 92. Look at that. Right up the gut. Luck makes him miss. Able to extend the play until Moncrief can uncover against Steven Nelson for the touchdown. It starts with the toughness, the mobility of Andrew Luck, and then staying alive. Vision downfield. How about Moncrief making a play for his quarterback?
So Luck marches him 10 plays, 75 yards. We're just under 5.5 minutes. Well, the Chiefs know that no Luck is safe. No lead is safe, I should say, in this stadium. Luck and the Colts showing a pulse back within 10. Second half possessions for Indianapolis. Touchdown catch by Dante Moncrief. First action since week 2. That very painful fractured scapula in the shoulder. Out the last month. And a big play to make this a brand new game. Down 10. And first time the Chiefs have been in this stadium since that heartbreaking 2013 wild card. They built a 38-10 lead early in the second half before everything fell apart. Luck recovering this fumble, ran it in from 5 yards out. And then the 64-yarder to T.Y. Hilton, who had a career day, 224 yards. Second biggest comeback victory in NFL playoff history. Alex Smith done for the afternoon with a concussion. Second time he's been knocked from this game. And also no Spencer Ware. So one healthy running back for Kansas City. Ware lost to a concussion as well. No Jamal Charles, did not make the trip. Had some swelling in that surgically repaired knee. So that affects their play calling now, Solomon.
All right, in order to come back on this Kansas City Chiefs team, you need stops on defense. And that means you've got to contain Andy Reid's offense by taking away Travis Kelce. You got to be able to contend and understand that Tyreek Hill can hit another home run in the long passing game. And then you've got to be able to stop the running game with Sharkhandrick West.
Hill already has a 49-yard catch with a touchdown earlier. This is Foles. Has his man. It's Conley. The defender hit the ground, and that left Conley wide open. It's a 33-yarder.
Here he is. He's matched up right there. That's going to be Patrick Robinson right there in the circle. And look, Robinson's going to fall down. But look at Foles. He lets it fly, allow Conley to even adjust under it, able to make that catch. So right now, the Chiefs have multiple weapons that Foles can go to. We know Kelce's played well. We know Macklin already has a touchdown. And so does Tyreek Hill. Now Conley gets in on the act.
Conley, the former third-round pick out of Georgia. On first and 10, this is West. Trying to find some daylight inside the Indianapolis 40. Boy, give Nick Foles, Solomon, all kinds of credit. On in relief a couple of times today. 11 of 14, 160 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no picks.
Well, you have Andy Reid, and you have to also mention Brad Childress, Matt Nagy. These are the coaches that coach on the offensive side of the ball, working with the quarterbacks, the receivers. If you're a backup quarterback, you're getting as much attention. Maybe you don't get the reps that the starter would get, but you're getting a lot of attention, a lot of coaching.
Could be the final play of the quarter. On 2nd and 6, pass is made. Kelsey looking back. And what's the call here? The officials rule it a catch and then down by contact.
The adjustment on this ball by Travis Kelsey was incredible. He was open for a long period of time. Now they're going to try to hurry up, try to snap the ball, but they're going to take a look at this one because he also has to survive the fall to the ground on this catch. Look at that. Hauls it in right there. Now he's going to the ground. And then the ball comes out. Clayton Gathers gets over there at the last minute. Is he able to knock this ball out?
The ruling on the field is a catch, completion, and out of bounds. First down, Kansas City.
So they're saying he was out of bounds, and so the play concludes for the moment Kelsey stepped out of bounds.
Well, Chuck Pagano was ready with that red challenge flag. The key is here, and as Salmon pointed out, is that Kelsey was going to the ground. So the minute that happens, you have to maintain control through contact with the turf. And just as he gets that second leg down, he's going to the ground. So that's the determination that the officials have to make.
Indianapolis is challenging the ruling on the field of a catch. Timeout.
But here's also a key. He caught the ball in bounds, and then does he step out of bounds? Because once he steps out of bounds, the play's over. And if he steps out of bounds before he starts to fall to the ground, then the component of where you have to catch it and control it through making contact with the ground, that no longer applies. See, he stepped out of bounds right there, and it just really is going to depend on when did he begin to fall to the ground. Was he out of bounds first? That's how the officials ruled it on the field. There's the catch. Got 2 feet in bounds there. And see, now he steps out of bounds, and then he starts to go to the ground, and then the ball comes out.
Many different components of this play. The call on the field is a catch. If it stands, it'll be a 37-yard hookup between Foles and Kelsey, who has had a massive day. Kelsey, 8 catches, a $138, and a touchdown.
And the real key is that if you want to understand the rule is if you catch it and you're going to the ground, you have to control the ball through the fall, and you have to survive the fall to the ground and still possess the ball. However, if you make a catch and then go out of bounds, now you're out of bounds, the play's over, and then the component of going to the ground no longer applies.
Exactly right.
It just depends on how the officials want to interpret this play and under what rule will they make the judgment.
Just incredible how this rule has evolved over the past couple of years. So many controversial catches, no catches that we've seen.
I personally think it's clear. I think the rules are really good. Remember, they had receivers, former players. They tried to invite a group of current receivers to help formulate the play. They want to still be able to provide protection for the receivers after making the catch and then the control. And so I think we just have to continue to educate the viewers and NFL fans as to what the rule really is.
It is a long rule, and many different factors come into play, as Salmon pointed out, when the receiver is going to the ground.
After review, before the runner completed the catch, he was going to the ground. Therefore, he must hold on to the ball. He did not. It is an incomplete pass. It will be 3rd down and 6 at the 38-yard line. Indianapolis will not be charged with a timeout.
So there you have it. They said he was on his way to the ground even as he was stepping out of bounds. And so you have to control it. And the players, including Travis Kelsey, they're coached on this to understand that if you're going to go to the ground with that ball, you have to control it and you have to survive the fall to the ground by continuing to possess the ball. He clearly does not. And I think the rule is clear, and I think the visual evidence was also clear.
So they take the 37-yard pass play off the board, and now 3rd and 6. Eric Walden getting there for Indianapolis.
Welcome back to Lucas Oil Stadium. You can see the sack by Eric Walden, but Sarkantic West, he's got to be able to block before releasing and going out on the pass route. He turns Walden loose. Foles never sees him. Takes the shot, takes the sack. Now momentum has swung back, Spiro, right to the Indianapolis Colts after scoring a touchdown. The no catch by Travis Kelce and the sack on Nick Foles.
Eric Walden, ninth year in the NFL out of Middle Tennessee State. Well, how momentum swings in an NFL game. The Kelce catch negated, and that punt is muffed. Philip Dorsett, fortunately for him and the Colts, able to fall in the football as Indianapolis once again averting disaster. Flag on the field. Officials asking Pagano what he wants to do here.
Illegal formation, not enough men on the line of scrimmage. Kicking team. It's a 5-yard penalty. Replay, 4th down.
Wow, that's a biggie. Oh, if you're Andy Reid, you got to be hot on that one, Spiro, because they would have the Colts pinned inside the 10-yard line. But now they got to do it over. Colts get a break.
As if Andy Reid hasn't been dealing with enough. Starting quarterback, starting running back, finish for the day. The Kelce catch would have put them in a 1st and goal situation. Then you have them pinned inside their own 10. And a critical special teams penalty. Colts make a change here. Instead of Dorsett, it's T.Y. Hilton back deep to return. Hilton will play it right around his own 10 and runs it out of bounds just shy of the 20. 44 yards on the punt by Colquitt and 5 on the return by Hilton. Next Sunday, the NFL on CBS turns a double play. First, the Steelers battle the rival Ravens. Then these Colts taking on Green Bay. Check your local listings, beginning with JB, Boomer, Tony, Coach, and Bart on the NFL Today. So we gear up for the 4th quarter, Salmon, where both of these teams have been very strong.
Well, you can see 85 4th quarter points scored by the Colts, most in the NFL.
Luck and company begin deep on their own side of the field. Poorly thrown pass from Luck. That's Eric Swope trying to make what would have been a very difficult catch. So here are the Colts now, 3-4 Salmon. Game out on 1st in the AFC South. Looking for back-to-back wins for the first time this season, and this is one that they felt they had to have against a very tough opponent in their home stadium.
And Luck and the Colts have to march, what, some 86 yards on this drive. Tough field position to get started.
Luck 14 of 25, buck 67. He's had a couple of touchdowns, but 2 turnovers, and he's responsible for it. Luck wrapped up and sacked yet again. And it's the rookie Chris Jones making his 2nd straight start. Able to bury Luck. 3rd sack for the Chiefs defense.
He only laughed because Jones is one of those players. You can see him coming right here. Watch him get the push right there. He steps up, Luck does, and Jones able to corral it. But when we spoke to the rookie defender yesterday, he says, man, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to have fun. I'm just trying to play football. And even Andy Reid says he doesn't know what he doesn't know. He's just a big kid who's talented at 6'6", 310, but very athletic, as you saw on that pass rush. But he's a popular player in the locker room amongst the veterans. Doesn't take himself too serious, and he enjoys playing football.
We asked him about his first start as Joe Wright is the injured Colts player walking to the sideline. But we asked Chris Jones about last week, the emotions of making his first start. And he said, man, the thing I struggled with most was what kind of celebration do I do as I come out of the tunnel at the front of the game, the start of the game. Actually lost his mouthpiece as he came out, was doing his little dance. So, boy, do I pick it up? Do I keep going? Actually kept going and had himself a very successful first career start in that home win over the Saints. Jonathan Harrison has come on for Wrights. Right tackle, 3rd and 17. Luck from his own end zone, has all day to throw. Gonna run with it. Look at Luck showing the maneuverability. Needed the 24 for the first down. He's about 4 yards short. Eventually brought down by Derek Johnson after a scamper of 13 yards, but they'll punt.
Can't say enough about the coverage because look at the protection. I mean, he's got all day, but he's got nowhere to go with this football. And now he's going to start running it, and Luck doesn't want to give up on this one. He wants to hit that first down marker and try to convert it and keep the ball. He doesn't want to have to punt it away, give it back over to the Chiefs.
Well, you've talked about how talented this Chiefs secondary is. He's blanketing those Colts receivers on that play. This is Tyreek Hill backpedaling, going to play it from right around his own 22. Breaks the initial tackler. They're trying to run the daylight up the sideline, has his blockers in front of him, and crosses inside Colts territory where he's run out of bounds right around the 49. 28 yards on the return from the electric Tyreek Hill. Well, considering the injuries that they have today, no Alex Smith, no Spencer Ware, both out with the concussions. Tyreek Hill has put the Chiefs on his back, and he is having the game of his life till this point. This is Charkandrick West, good first down run, taking on tacklers inside Indianapolis territory, but Tyreek Hill doing a little bit of everything.
Human joystick, making plays, but it's in the reverse game, getting on the perimeter of the defense, and then going down the field deep for a 49-yard reception to set up a touchdown, and then later on came back for a 34-yard vertical touchdown, able to get into the end zone. 178 total yards for the rookie Tyreek Hill. In the return game, running it or catching it, he's making plays.
On 2nd and 3, Foles on in relief of Smith, hands off to West, tackled by DeQuell Jackson. And the Chiefs, of course, in no hurry, trying to run as much of that clock as they can. Up 10.
Yeah, and you said it earlier, Jamal Charles out. He was inactive today. Spencer Ware left the game. He's in the concussion protocol. So West is the only healthy back they have in the lineup. But, you know, he's good enough to hit home runs. He's very quick and very tough, even running in between the tackles. And he can also catch it coming out of the backfield. 3rd and 1.
And now the Chiefs will burn their first timeout. And what will be a critical 3rd and 1 coming up. Play clock was down to 4. There's Andy Reid. You mentioned the help that he has in a very impressive coach's room on the offensive side of the football. Brad Childress, who of course has been a head coach in this league.
What did I ask Andy? I said, you know, you've been in it, coach, 18 years, only 3 losing seasons in the previous 17 years. And I said, why do you still do it? He said, oh, I love it. I'm having fun. He loves game planning during the week. He loves teaching and working with players, and he loves this. Play calling. He loves using that chart to try to set up the defense to convert in these kinds of situations.
Andy Reid last week moving into 14th place on the NFL's all-time wins list, number 176. That pass from Foles incomplete and a late marker. Intended receiver was Kelsey. Patrick Robinson on the coverage.
Prior to the pass, holding defense number 25. It's a 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
It's on Robinson.
At halftime, we said one of the things to look ahead to, one of the adjustments, they have to clamp down and contain Kelsey. And there's the, I don't know. I thought he did a good job, did Robinson, of staying in front of Kelsey. Now, you can have your hands on him as the ball is coming in. You just can't hook him. And I don't think Robinson hooked Kelsey at all on that play, even though there was some contact, but they were within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. So it was legal contact.
Kelsey, if you've just joined us, 7 catches, 101 yards and a touchdown. We go 3 tight ends, quick strike. This is Chris Conley, first down and more. Tough catch and run by Conley. Melvin eventually brings him down. 17 big yards and a Chiefs first down.
Conley was using his 6'3", 205-pound frame to try to break that tackle if Melvin doesn't get him down there, he's running for a touchdown. Thought he was able to gain significant yards after making the catch, but right now this Chiefs offense is in a groove, and you wouldn't know that Nick Foles was a backup quarterback right about now.
Update from the Colts sideline. Joe Wright's starting today at right tackle in the concussion protocol. His return is questionable. Macklin, a screen pass on first down. This has been as physical a game, Solomon, as we've seen all year. A number of players in the concussion protocol. And a game of just immense importance for both of these teams.
You know, one of the things we talk about, because we've already seen Parker Anger lead the game. We talked to Coach Reed about the play of offensive lines around the NFL. He broke in as an offensive line coach, and he talked about it. It's one of the more critical areas where you have to be able to perform at a high level at that position.
Colts already down Jack Newhart today, out a second straight week. Falls on 2nd and 8. Fakes the handoff to West. Finds Tyreek Hill. Just trying to get him the football in open space where he has been so deadly. Clayton Geathers on the tackle. It's a pickup of 4 as Hill with his 5th catch, totaling 98 yards.
And it really does start with that offensive line that we talked about, allowing time for the quarterback to get the ball down the field to Tyreek Hill to allow this run game to get going. Now inside the red zone on 3rd down, what can you expect from Nick Foles in this offense? You got to think Travis Kelce. He's the favorable matchup you want.
Foles delivering a strike. It is caught. Demetrius Harris short of the end zone. They will mark him inside the 1. What a catch by Harris, a pickup of a dozen.
They get the one-on-one opportunity outside. Everyone double coverage on Kelce, and then they leave Harris one-on-one against Melvin on the perimeter of the defense. It's a catch. It looks like he may have gone down before he hit. There's that knee right there.
We know Harris can get up for it. He's a former basketball player. As Dontari Poe checks into the game, we saw him catch a little screen pass for a touchdown back in week 6. Lead blocker here, but Indianapolis's defense holding tough in the middle. TJ Green making first contact.
Poe's in there. He's 345 pounds. Look, TJ Green gets early penetration. And number 91, Ridgeway, also getting into the backfield.
Told you earlier, Kansas City down to 1 healthy running back. Already we're without Jamal Charles, who did not make the trip. Spencer Ware lost to a concussion. So Charcandrick West, all they've got. 3 tight ends on 2nd and goal. Foles going in zone, but he had West all by himself. It'll be 3rd and goal coming up.
Foles had to throw it early with pressure in his face. Trying to get it over the defender who's going to be coming. That's Walden coming right in his face. Actually, he really should have just been able to throw that for a touchdown. Pressure wasn't nearly on top of him as I thought it was. He just missed him. Yeah. Coach Reed said, "Are you kidding me? Not going to get an easier throw than that for Nick Foles."
3rd and goal. Foles end zone again, incomplete. Looking in the direction of Chris Conley. And once again, it was Melvin on the coverage.
This is just a miscommunication between Conley and Foles. Now, if you're Conley, whenever you throw this fade route, you're throwing it right at the pylon. But you can see Conley runs past the pylon. He runs to the back of the end zone. He's not anywhere near the area where the quarterback's going to throw the football.
There's not many reps for the backup quarterback during the course of a work week in the NFL. So Foles and the Chiefs offense see their drive stall, but Cairo Santos able to salvage 3 points. Chiefs build on their lead, up 13 on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Auto Trader. Find your perfect new, used, or certified car on Auto Trader. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. And by Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Well, some Halloween fun at the Indianapolis Zoo. Families taking advantage of the beautiful fall weather here in Indianapolis. And so right now, Colts fans sitting on their hands, down 13 points with 8 minutes remaining in this fourth quarter. Spiro Dita, Solomon Wilcots, our producer Ryan Galvin, and Goldberg, our director. Rest of our CBS crew. Critical week 8 in the AFC. Chiefs up 13 points. Coming up, the Subway postgame show. JB and the fellas standing by in New York. Get you caught up around the NFL. All the scores and highlights around week 8. All coming up next on the Subway postgame show. Final 8 minutes from Indianapolis. Colts have not won back-to-back games this season. The big one this would be a 3-4 game back in the AFC South. First and 10 pass from Luck. He's batted down at the line of scrimmage. If you've just joined us, T.Y. Hilton, their leading receiver, does not have a catch. But Solomon, you have to wonder physically where he is. Left the game briefly with a left hamstring injury.
Yeah, that hamstring injury has pretty much, at this point, made him a decoy. He has to be able to be a factor in the offense with his speed, but if you're hampered by hamstring injury, then to me, you want to be able to get the defense to bite on T.Y. Hilton, but try to get Moncrief or Philip Dorsett open at the second level of the defense.
Luck from the shotgun on 2nd and 10. Market starts to collapse again. Luck's going to tuck it away and run it. At this point, Luck is their leading rusher in this game. Indianapolis just 231 yards of total offense till this point.
Luck is the leading rusher and obviously the leading passer. Yeah, they have to be able to generate some offense. In my mind, Philip Dorsett has to be able to inject this offense with his speed, and Dante Moncrief has to be able to make some plays as well.
Luck on 3rd and 9 with a sling it near side of the field, and that is incomplete. He and Hilton continue to have their struggles.
Right now, T.Y. Hilton just doesn't have that explosive separating ability. Coming out of that break, it's got to be more crisp, more clean, and driving out of the break, which is what we've seen him do in the past. I just don't think he's 100% after coming out of the game earlier with that hamstring injury.
19th dropped pass in the NFL. That's the most in the league. Hilton entered the day just under 700 yards receiving, 45 catches. Pro Bowler for the Colts each of the last 2 years. And the most targeted player in the NFL through week 7. Their catch signaled by Hill. And that is where the Chiefs will have it from their own 30, but Indianapolis running out of time, down 13 points.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Subway. Try the new Autumn Carb Turkey Sandwich today. And by the redesigned 2017 Kia Forte.
Lucas Oil Stadium, downtown Indianapolis. Andy Reid looking deep down that play sheet. His starting quarterback Alex Smith, starting running back Spencer Ware, both lost to a concussion today. So Nick Foles, Charcandrick West trying to steady the ship. Yeah, this is where you lean on your offensive line, Solomon. We had a chance to talk with Andy, who of course has been such a specialist with offensive linemen over the years, and how tough it's been to develop guys at that position. And boy, now Charcandrick West looks like he's hurt.
Yeah, you talk about it. It's been a huge topic around the National Football League, the poor play of offensive lines. And we spoke with Andy Reid about it yesterday. He says, you know, offensive linemen are not nearly the athletes that you have on the defensive line. Quick, fast, agile athletes. Said, but the offensive lineman, what you need is you need the work in the offseason. You need it even during the regular season, where the reps of punching and grabbing and slipping and releasing it has to be repped over and over again. He don't think they have enough time in the offseason to get offensive linemen ready to play at a very high level. And certainly when they leave college, they don't play in the same kind of pro-style system.
On 2nd and 8, underneath screen pass. This is Macklin making guys miss. Macklin breaking free inside Indianapolis territory. Finally tackled by Melvin. 28 yards on the catch and run by Macklin.
Well, this Chiefs offense just wears you down with these little bubble screens. Look at the convoy of offensive linemen out in front of Mack. Look at the block by Travis Kelce, the tight end. And Macklin set sail. And if Melvin doesn't trip him up, boy, he's going to run a long way for a touchdown. 6 plays of 20 yards or more. Not all of them were the variety where you had to throw the ball down the field. They were the short catch and run. Make one guy and miss, and then you're out the gate.
Charkandrick West back on the field after leaving briefly for a play. As Andy Reid in that sideline takes a deep breath. As we told you all day, Spencer Ware out, Jamal Charles not making the trip, so West, their only healthy running back. They do, of course, have Anthony Sherman at the fullback position. But they're just trying to get out of here in one piece. And at 5-2.
Yeah, you talk about offensive linemen. They've done a good job, I think, of even developing Eric Fisher, former 1st overall pick. He's had his struggles, but they've hung in there, and you've seen him develop as well as some of the other younger players on this offensive line.
Anthony Thomas lines up in the backfield, so Andy Reid has to get creative here. Thomas, their former 4th-round pick out of Oregon. It was David Parry on the tackle, the 2nd-year defensive lineman out of Stanford. And now timeout taken by Indianapolis. There's Chuck Pagano, had to get this team psychologically ready after that meltdown in Houston a couple of weeks ago. They went to Nashville, got that big road win in the division. They were hoping, Solomon, that would kind of get their season back on course. We're now running out of time, down 13 here at home to the Chiefs.
An important game here at home for Andrew Luck and these Indianapolis Colts, especially if you have any hopes of getting into the postseason. You start to deal with that wild card issue, you're going to be battling against some of these same teams needing help to get in.
Nick Foles, 16 of 22, 223 and a couple of scores on 3rd and 7. Well, just barely able to get the football away. Zach Kerr was giving chase. There's a marker thrown beyond the line of scrimmage on the defensive side of the ball.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense, number 20. That's a 5-yard penalty and an automatic 1st down.
That's Darius Butler on the penalty.
There he is with the club. He's got a club on one hand, so it means he held with the non-clubbed hand. Foles is getting crushed by Kerr. He spikes the quarterback down to the turf. Those big guys, boy, they get their hands on quarterback. They have bad intentions.
I'll give Butler all kinds of credit for being tough. Told you had to have surgery on that fractured finger a couple of weeks ago. Played just days after. So that was a penalty that they just could ill afford at this moment of the game. West is tackled by Robert Mathis, and that will be a loss of 2. And a timeout taken once again by the Colts. Now, this is Nick Foles' day. Came on initially in relief of Alex Smith at the 11-minute mark of the 1st. And he's looked pretty good, all things considered.
He's been cool, he's been calm, and taking shots down the field. Bringing the long ball back to this Chiefs offense. And then you can't forget about the talent of Travis Kelce. Gets himself a touchdown. And then the speed of Tyreek Hill, the young rookie out of West Alabama. On that 38-yard touchdown toss from Nick Foles. So Foles comes in, throws 2 touchdown passes. He's performed better than Andrew Luck in the short time he's been in the game.
Reid, of course, drafted Nick Foles in Philly, 3rd round in 2012. As Anthony Thomas takes another handoff. Foles eventually came on that season after Mike Vick was lost to a concussion, started the remainder of the year, and then had just an incredible season and a half run in Philly. Reed was fired after only 6 games of Foles' rookie year, but Foles had that incredible 2013 Pro Bowl season before injuries cut short his time in Philly.
And never knew couldn't quite make out what happened when he was with those St. Louis Rams, and as recently, even earlier this year, when the team moved to Los Angeles, he was kind of an afterthought behind Case Keenum. And then the first overall pick, Jared Goff. There was only one other team he wanted to play for, and that was the Kansas City Chiefs, and wanted to play again with Andy Reid.
Foles lines up here in the gun on 3rd and 13. This is West inside the 30 as those precious seconds coming off the clock.
Every time West gets up and he's banged up, looks like he wants to come off. He knows he has to stay out there because he's the only healthy running back they have. He's been tough running the football today.
See what Santos has done, 2 of 3 so far. And the Chiefs have to start to think about next week. And what's Alex Smith's status? Spencer Ware, of course, as they will have a home game against the Jacksonville Jaguars next Sunday, a game we will have for you in Kansas City. And it looks like the Chiefs will take their second timeout. Another reminder coming up, the Subway postgame show. JB, Tony, Bart, Coach, and Boomer will have the latest NFL scores and highlights, all coming up on the Subway postgame show. And Simon, you look at where the Chiefs sit in the AFC West. Denver, of course, has had their 5-year reign atop the division, but now suddenly the Broncos look vulnerable. We know that Trevor Siemian has taken the reins at quarterback. C.J. Anderson placed on IR this week. The door could be slightly open for the Chiefs in that West.
They've already won on the road at Oakland. They still have 2 games remaining against the Denver Broncos. Still lots of work to do, but certainly in a really good position.
A win today would get them to 5-2. As Santos is good from 44 yards out. So the Chiefs extend their lead to 16 points. And they have done it on a day where they've lost their starting quarterback and starting running back to concussions.
You see the laces now away from the kicker Santos. He said that's how you're supposed to spot it. Because the one he missed earlier, that 28-yard field goal attempt, the laces were right at him. He kicked it and that ball just kind of knuckled off to the right. This one, Colquitt not only gets it down, he spins the laces away from the kicker. Santos is able to nail it. Yeah. Andy Reid said, you know, it shouldn't be that much suspense when it comes to knocking these field goals through the upright.
Oh, we love hanging with Andy Reid. Had a chance to sit with him yesterday. You talked to him about coaching so many years, 18 in the NFL, his 4th in Kansas City.
What did he say? Hey, I love going to work every day. He even said during the tough times in Philadelphia at the end, he said, I still loved it then. And this is what he's really good at, working with young players. He said he and his wife, when they're traveling around the world in the offseason, he said there's not a place that he cannot go where someone somewhere doesn't know him. They're saying, hey, coach. they're calling him out. And he loves it because he's asking about their families and what they're now doing with their lives. He's had a lot to contribute to the lives of so many who he has coached over the years.
And he told us his older brother, Reggie, who is a retired geologist, used to complain to him about certain aspects of his job, the office part of his job.
Yeah.
And he said, you know, it just kind of puts it into perspective. We get to coach and be around the NFL and be around this game that we love every day. There's never a day that he doesn't take it for granted. Or does take it for granted, I should say. But what a coaching career he's put together.
The players love him. They really do. And, you know, Jeremy Maclin had played for him in Philadelphia. He's come over to play with him. Nick Foles, the same.
Luck on 1st and 10. Little sidearm delivery to Turbin. Turbin forced out of bounds at the 35-yard line by Derek Johnson. It's a pickup of 11 and a Colts first down.
Andrew Luck, you have to wonder if it's too little too late. They've been slugging away. They've just never really been able to get on track offensively. The offensive line hasn't been perfect as he's been sacked 3 times today. But the early turnovers, fumble by Luck, and then the interception before halftime. He had 4 points for the Chiefs. Got this team off to a slow start and dug a deep hole.
Luck steps into that throw underneath. Dorsett, and the football comes loose. Dorsett fumbled the punt return earlier, recovered.
Guess who made the hit?
It's Dirty Dan.
That's your guy. That's our guy.
That's quickly become the best nickname in the NFL.
But he's always doing this, making plays like this. I put the tape on last week against the New Orleans Saints. Kid made every play, including an interception return for a touchdown.
Andy Reid said he's got a soft spot for Sons. He played at BYU just like Andy did. As D Ford getting to Luck, that's the 4th sack that the Colts have allowed, and the 2nd time that Ford has gotten to Luck.
D Ford has had his way. Stanzo's had a tough day. Yeah, he could have been called for holding there. When we talk about the young offensive lineman, Stanzo is the veteran of the group.
On 3rd and 17, Luck goes underneath. This is Turbin. This is the 35 out to the 37-yard line. And Solomon, you just don't know what to make of this Colts team. They get the big road win last week, but every time they take a half step forward, they follow that up with a step in the wrong direction.
They kind of need things to go well for them early and kind of get into rhythm. Didn't happen to them.
Go for it here on 4th and 9. Luck's going to run for it. He's got it and more. Will slide to the Kansas City 45-yard line, and that will take us to the 2-minute warning. 17-yard run from Luck, but it's all Kansas City on CBS. In front of the Colts, 30-14, 16-point advantage. Despite all the injuries that they have had to deal with this afternoon. Luck after that 17-yard run has a 1st and 10. He's going to take a shot. Up the seam, it is caught. Moncrief in for the touchdown. There is a marker on the field. 45 yards on the strike.
Holding, offense, number 71. 10-yard penalty replay. 1st down.
That's the former 7th-round pick, Denzel Good, and that just about typifies the day for the Colts.
It sure has. There he is right there. Take a look at this one. This is a well-thrown ball, well caught, but not well protected. Working against Chris Jones. Oh yeah, takes the legs out from up under him, nearly trips him up, but we call that a tackle around the lower body of a big man.
4th holding penalty against the Colts in this game. Told you the problems they've had with the penalties of late, and that trend has continued today. First and 20. Luck's pass kind of wobbles out off the hands of Marcus Peters, who leads the league in picks. Intended for Hilton. Back to New York. Here's JB.
Oakland with a chance to win it, Bart.
From 50 yards to get the win. Stanikowski wide left, no good. We go to extra.
That we do. End OT we go. Back Spiro and Solomon.
All right, Chiefs fans keeping a close watch on that one. We are in Indianapolis. Chiefs trying to put the finishing touches on their 5th win of the season, up 16 points. 2nd and 20. Most of the fans have filed their way out. And the pass is caught. It's Devin Street making his 2nd appearance. Now they say incomplete. So incomplete.
Yeah, he drops this one right there. He never had it. See, it falls right out of that basket. But Philip Gaines was kind of clawing at him. Couldn't haul it in.
Street made his first appearance as a Colt last week in the win in Nashville. Signed off the Patriots practice squad in late September after the injury to Moncrief. It's not played much of a role in this one today. 3rd and 20. Luck. Bullet pass over the middle. The officials say catch by T.Y. Hilton. His first reception this afternoon. It's good for 20 and a first down.
He just hasn't been a factor, hadn't been able to be after leaving the game with that hamstring injury and then coming back.
Luck again hit on the release. That pass is caught. What a catch by Turner. Under heavy pressure, Andrew Sorensen. It's a pickup of 5.
Quarterback Andrew Luck taking a beating today. Big guy, he can take it, but man, seen this all too often during his career with the Colts.
Luck under pressure, and he will be sacked yet again. Frank Sambo wrapping him up. 5th sack of Luck.
These hits and these sacks are coming in what we call known situations. You know the Colts have to drop back and throw it on every single time, and the defense is just pinning their ears back coming after Luck.
Didn't appear as though Paul had come off the field. Luck is sacked again. That's D. Ford wrapping him up.
They're just killing this Colts offensive line. They're just not built to play from behind. They can't protect without the threat of a run game. Play action pass. And yeah, Chris Jones just dumps Luck right there.
This is an ugly finish for the Colts.
Excuse me, that was D4.
As a look at the updated standings, will give the Chiefs the win now to 5-2. Oakland, keep in mind, just going to overtime as you saw in Tampa. But this will get the Chiefs' divisional record now to 2-0.
There was no foul on the play, as the player getting out the field was the 11th man.
Okay, so the officials sort through that. Craig Rolstad, our referee. 15 seconds remaining. So the Colts can solve these issues to their offensive line with some consistency. They just don't have much of a chance.
The replay, previous play is under review.
You see Paul running off 92 at the top of your screen.
There's one. There we go. We're going to go ahead and count them all. All right? There you go. Did we get them all? We're good. We're good. Now he might be offsides because he's on the Colts side of the line of scrimmage. Good. Go and look at it. I think they're going to say, okay, we gave you the wrong information. Well, you had 11. You know, Dontari Poe was offsides. He has to be on the other side of the line of scrimmage if he's going to be on the field at the snap of the ball.
There were only 11 men on the field for the defense, therefore the play was legal. It'll be 4th down.
You know, I think they're looking at the clock and saying, let's get out of here.
AFC South standings, Colts will drop to 3-5. Still will have not won consecutive games this season, and they've got a lot of work in front of them. But that's the thing, Zalman. Of course, you're in the AFC South. You're always alive. You can string together a win here, a win there. Without a doubt, they've got some major issues to work through offensively. Luck's pass is batted down, and it will be Kansas City running out the remaining time as we get a turnover on downs. Looks like an injured Colts player. Can't remember a game with this number of guys going down to injury. It has been incredibly hard hitting and physical. It's Philip Dorsett, who missed last week's game with a knee injury. Excuse me, a hamstring. Looks like he takes a knee right to the back of the shoulder. As he crumples to the turf. Not only had that hamstring injury, also a foot that had been bothering him.
You know, when that ball's hanging up in the air, these Chiefs, they attack the football in defense. They are thirsty for interceptions, and you just get the sense that Andy Reid's bunch is just sort of evolving into a really not just good football team, but a football team that's capable of making a run into the postseason. That's good coaching.
Trainers continue to tend to Dorsett. Now, we started the day talking about Andrew Luck getting all of his weapons back. Moncrief and Dorsett returning from injury. Then they lose Hilton in the game, left briefly with a hamstring. And this was as frustrating a day that Andrew Luck has had this season.
And it just never really got going. They would shoot themselves in the foot. I mean, on that fumble early on just a simple shotgun snap from center Ryan Kelly. Luck didn't look it in as he's trying to hand it off to Gore. He never really possessed the ball, and then that kind of started things going downhill.
So Dorsett will very gingerly make his way to the Colts sideline. Colts next week have to go to Lambeau Field to take on the Packers. Then they've got the bye the week after that. Well, a lot to figure out for Chuck Pagano and the Colts.
They sure do put a lot on their quarterback. But if there's anyone who can handle it, it is Andrew Luck. But when you look at the fact that he's the leading rusher today, and you look at that kind of schedule, Green Bay, and of course a home game against the Titans again, and in order to make a run and be able to get his team into the postseason, they're just going to have to start performing better in other areas on their football team.
Chiefs will head home. They'll take on the Jaguars next week. We'll have that game for you from Kansas City. Then at Carolina and home for Tampa Bay. Special thanks to our crew, Ryan Galvin, Andy Goldberg, Alana Campbell, Scott Martin, Ryan Pavlicek, our statistician, Russ Dillon, our spotter, Rich Gannon. The final 30-14 Chiefs. Now for Solomon Spirodidis saying so long from Indianapolis. Coming up next, the Subway postgame show. It's all coming up next on CBS.